Alright, hello and welcome to episode 10 Yes Podcast. I'm Amoeba. Joining me today is the usual Brits, Scoagogo.
Hi.
And Crafted.
Hello.
And our special guests for today, GarfieldTheLightning.
I'm also a Brit.
Brit number 4. And the token American, JP Zinap.
I am indeed a token. I'm not really here.
Yeah, we need to get some diversity on this scene. I think we've had every British Pokemon speedrunner apart from Sinstar.
Sinstar?
When's Pokerflute coming back? That's my question.
Pokerflute British?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, when's that black or the white runner coming back?
The white runner?
TiKevin or something. I don't know what his name is.
Oh, I don't either. Anyway, so our first big point for today's podcast, we're going to be looking at. I'm actually going to go straight to the leaderboards because Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon games have got brand new extension leaderboards. These were very, very recently added in a matter of days. It was definitely this week, whenever it was.
I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, 3-4 days ago, I think it was.
All the PBs in
ago.
Red Blue Any% are 3 days old, so that sounds pretty good.
Clamoring for that hot recce.
I'm so glad that Any%'s got the leaderboard. I love super quick, short, optimized runs, and Any% is like perfect for that. But yeah, these leaderboards are basically for the odd categories, the categories without obviously defined goals or aren't significantly competitive enough to warrant their own leaderboards. So Any% is an obvious one for that because it's 1:21 long. What else? What other categories have we got here? 124 glitchless. That's catch 'em all glitchless, or catch 'em all in a single game. I think.
Yeah, that's right.
All trainers. That's an _poi special. I remember that. Alternative. Yeah, so there's an entire set of boards for alternative main Pokemon, which already has 6 different ones. What the hell's wrong with Parasect? Beacon. Ooh. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's plenty of ones that the name doesn't make sense to me because I don't understand the parameters of it. I'm sure there's some catch 'em all nutty one like PC Jack. I'm sure that's something to do with catch 'em all or glitching in general.
Yeah, I would assume that most of the RBY runs have to do with really, really dumb glitches.
Yeah, reverse badge order's been moved. So this was a very popular category for a bit. Lots of people actually pushed to get this on. Down in popularity, I'd say, about a year ago. Still definitely probably the busiest one for the extension leaderboards, but it's moved away from being a miscellaneous to a category extension.
It also does feature glass of bootleg milk, so it's automatically a good leaderboard.
Who's British as well? We need to get him on.
Oh my god.
So that's the Gen 1 leaderboards. These, one of the big things to note for these leaderboards is the moderated by section does not include Worcester Run to Bombstew, who are your main, what do they call them? Super mods for the Pokemon series. These are entirely, I mean, obviously they're part of the community anyway, but these are like entirely community driven within like the Gen 1 community, whereas Worcester and Keysron have run all the games, so they've been in the Gen 1 community, but they're not. That's not their main focus. And it's not necessarily Etiquette's main focus. Pokeguy is very big in the Gen 1 community. Stringflow is very big, Gen 1 to 2. So they're keeping hold of that one. Gen 2 gets its own as well. Interpreter and Nyx joining Pokeguy and Stringflow again. Slightly less categories, but I think these are the more interesting ones. I think Gen 2's got some nice variety ones. Crystal Battle Tower. Interpreter's run was one that we covered a few podcasts ago. They directly sent me that run. It's actually been beaten by Ivan Rosito, WSOP boy.
They're the same person, remember?
Yeah, I remembered. Took me 10 podcasts, but I remember. Crystal.
Yeah, this is actually an extremely interesting category, considering the amounts of variety that you can put into the Crystal Battle Tower itself.
Yeah, I love the aspect of building up a 3 Pokemon team in a speedrun.
Yeah, and the Crystal Battle Tower is very difficult. Like, it's way harder than the new Battle Towers. So even though you have to only win 8 battles...
Really crazy.
Yeah,
so like, the very old route for this that Worcester did was he did it at level 10 and used Skarmory with Toxic and Double Team to just Toxic stall everything. And like Jolteon and Onyx for things that Skarmory couldn't Toxic stall.
I believe, what was it? Interpreter's Route used a Miltank, but I don't remember the Wobbuffet. And I don't remember the third. But I'm not actually curious.
And was that level 20?
I think so. It was higher. Yeah, so WSOP's using level 20 as well, and he's got the Miltank.
Because
I don't know why Jolteon's coming into my head.
That would make sense to be fair.
Jolteon was in Worcester's one.
Gyarados. That's WSOP's using Gyarados anyway.
Then in between those two routes, there was the one by Underscore, which used, I think, Suicune and Typhlosion and Snorlax, and did level 50.
Wow.
So there's been like various routes for this.
Yeah, so Underscores runs on there as well. That's quite a further distance into the run though, isn't it, to get that team of Pokemon?
Yeah. And like, yeah, I don't think you have to like go to Kanto anymore. But obviously for Snorlax you had to go to Kanto, and with Worcester's route you had to go and beat Janine to get Toxic, and like go to the Celadon Mart and get stuff there as well.
God, really? Yeah, the WSOP splits had Morty as the last thing before Battle Tower splits, so
yeah,
halfway through Johto now. That's an interesting one. Baton Pass shows up again. This was where you had to switch mains, wasn't it, between every gym?
I think for every major fight you have to use a different main.
Yeah, the rules say each major battle needs to be defeated with a different evolutionary line. Like you can't just take like Hoothoot in one battle and Noctowl in the next major battle. No restrictions for non-major battles. So like I've not seen this category. So does that mean like you can like switch between 2 different Pokemon entirely, or do you have to like keep using a brand new one?
You got to keep using a brand new one. Because I remember this being a thing for Gen 1. I've not seen a Gen 2 run of this, but yeah, in Gen 1 they like to switch between Pokemon all the time, and it was pretty different to your standard Pokemon speedrun where you just power level a single Pokemon basically and steamroll the game. Well, you don't steamroll the game, but you get what I'm saying.
I like the idea. I feel like it doesn't quite match the balance of what I'd like with. I feel like Gen 1 would probably do it really well, but having to do 16 different Pokemon for Gen 2 sounds like hell.
I mean, it'd be more than that because you have like rival battles, the Elite Four, the Champion.
Rival battles count.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, this is why it's perfect for this kind of board though. It's one of these oddball categories you can put in category extensions. It's so yeah. That's if anyone else has any obscure categories that they've always wanted to have a leaderboard for, then bring it up in the Discord, and decent chance for it being added, I'd say.
I like that Exarion. We talked last month about Exarion doing the nipless categories. They've already got category extensions, leaderboards for Gen 2. I think Gen 1 they kind of under classic.
Yeah, Gen 1 Maniplus is still classic, pretty sure.
Oh, there could be though, to be fair. They could, because classic bans Pokédoll skip, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's a Japanese rule set.
Yeah, so they could have true Maniplus, I guess, if somebody was really that bothered. Kind of depends on. This is the kind of thing that depends on people in the community as to what they want. Look at all these alternative starters.
Yeah, that's what I like about this, though, because it allows the community to like gather around a category that could be more interesting or like less explored than the main categories for the game, and still like be able to draw new people into the community to play. So I definitely like the way that this is going.
Did anybody know that Worcester did a Onyx lead speedrunning crystal?
Yeah, it's
7 days ago.
Yeah.
He used the in-game trade where you trade the Bellsprout for Onyx in Violet City, and he used that for the entire game.
God.
You are like uncanny at choosing.
Yeah, he's just still
which spot to click to.
Guys.
It's just
Yeah,
it's a skill.
There's like a particularly rough section in this run is where you there's like a stretch from just after Faulkner to Bugsy where you have to deal with disobedience in your Onyx until you can, because once it goes past level 10, it starts disobeying you until you beat Bugsy and raise the level cap.
Oh my god.
But they expected you to beat Bugsy basically without trade Pokemon. Level 10s, or they just didn't think about it.
They probably just
no. I
didn't
mean,
think about it.
it's just for trades. I mean,
Yeah, but that's still silly. Like,
But so you don't trade like a level 100 and just
oh, I
beat
know,
the game.
I get
easy.
I get the idea of it. It's just it seems odd that it's because that's very. You can imagine taking on Bugsy with just a level 10, or just a few level 10s. That's still not the easiest.
you could probably manage it if it was an Onyx. To be fair.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the new route. Yeah, Onyx Rocky is ignoring all
Yeah,
this.
there you go. That's just as soon as he gets to level 11, that's when it starts. It's
Yeah.
you know pick different moves that can get confused. It's all that good stuff.
Maybe that's the true route then, is to use a different Pokemon until you beat Bugsy.
Well, then it wouldn't be Onyx. Then it wouldn't be Rocky percent.
But then you get into the kind of grey area of the category, because like, does this not count because he had to bring out Chikorita when Onyx died? Obviously, that's ridiculous.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe we need another category split for this.
Well,
I
we need a
assume that-
subcategory under every one, which is pure Onyx, like pure Onyx, and then somewhat Onyx.
That's right.
and then just catching Onyx and Mount Silver before Red. And that's it.
But that's Onyx percent, that counts. Yeah. Yeah, if you're interested in extended category leaderboards for your Gen 1 and Gen 2 games, speak to your category extension moderator.
I believe there's going to be a Gen 3 one planned as well, but it's not up yet.
I'd say there's a lot less.
There's a few categories, I guess, for that, but you can bring, the old Spinder percent back, I suppose.
I wonder if that'll count. I love the fact that exists and so many people ran it, but I feel like that could be a contentious one to add.
Well,
No,
I mean,
Worcester
contentious-
mentioned
This
it.
is exactly
Contentious
why
even for category extensions.
Yeah,
it's a very odd one, isn't it? We literally just, here you go, here's a game, run a third of it, and then just catch a completely arbitrary Pokemon. There's no skill in doing any of that specifically.
look how many categories there are. They're just adding
Hey,
everything.
do you know how much biking you got to do to get to Spinda?
Yeah,
There
I ran both categories.
Yeah, there was a fair bit of competition there. I mean,
There was, yeah. I know. I think when the PSR forums were still open, I re-maintained the leaderboards after the whole like weird zone where we had the miscellaneous categories, but they weren't on SRC. They were on the forums. I love Spinder percent, but it really does seem odd for a leaderboard. But I mean, if people are happy with it,
I
I'm not
quote
going to
from
complain.
Worcester.
This is exactly why they're here.
Right, whenever Worcester made the announcement about it, he said, and I quote, most gimmicks should be fine, things like Dodrio Tar, Spinda percent, whatever. So
Oh.
he even said it should go.
I'm quite surprised.
that
I'm
should
happy, but I'm quite surprised that they're going to allow something that.
well, I mean, Worcester doesn't.
Worcester doesn't give a damn, yeah.
Worcester doesn't care about this stuff anyway, because he's just like, just put it out of my sight in this corner. I don't want to even look at these categories.
The
Just
weird
like-
thing, the only thing I don't like about these leaderboards is there's no way to go from the Pokemon series page to these, or the red game to these, or the yellow game to these. They kind of exist as their own entity.
Yeah, you can go backwards because in the left corner there's a link to
Yeah,
what the
based on
game's
Red Bull.
based on, but you can't go directly.
Yeah, it's a little odd. Like. So Gen 3. Yeah, Gen 3 is potentially Spinder percent there then. Roush and Tyrant and possibly others have ran Is it 213 in Emerald? 217?
It's oh geez, how much is it?
It's a whack. It's a 10-hour speedrun.
It's
Yeah. So that's it. The catch 'em all glitchless in Emerald. Because that's got
there,
Feebas.
there's also possibly 173 for Fire Red Leaf Green.
Oh yeah, I think someone's done that, haven't they?
Salad has done that
Yes,
in the
that
past.
was
Tyrant did it.
Yet another British speedrunner.
Oh yeah, that was Twice Salad. I think I've met him before. I say I think because I don't know specifically if it was him or not, and we never really
UKSM.
introduced. Yeah.
Probably. He's like a really, really big Kingdom Hearts speedrunner, right?
Yeah, he was a cool guy. What other categories are there? There was something else that I'm sure I thought of. Oh, I think Exarion's tried Trico in Emerald. Although I don't know if he ever finished a run because it's garbage.
Yeah, he did. He finished 2 runs, I think.
Oh, there we go.
I'm shocked.
Who is it that did? What's his name that did Torchic?
Ryzican will have done
Thank
Torchic.
you. I had Ryosotis stuck in my name. Stuck in my name, stuck in my brain. God, I'm doing well today.
Oh, this guy used to do. This was ages ago. It was like 2013 or something. This guy used to do master contest speedruns in Sapphire. Maybe we
Oh my
could
God.
revive that.
Do you know, that sounds neat. That's genius. I
It
wanna
sounds
do that.
insane.
That would actually be a really interesting category.
Yeah, we all routing that then. See, come back
Hey,
in a
we
month
would
and see
finally
what we
also
get.
have a leaderboard to put Battle Tower or Battle Factory into for him.
all gold symbols.
Exactly.
That's very true. Exarion and Worcester can sit on their proud little thrones, and the rest of us can look up in awe. We will never be on that leaderboard. Yeah.
Well, we're talking about contests. Does this mean we can get a category and dress up Pansage in black, please?
No.
No.
We've been told by SRC that there are no category extensions allowed past Gen 3.
Damn it!
So, big alert to anybody that thinks that disagrees that decision. It is not a PSR decision. It is an SRC decision. Tweet at Pack.
Also, please run the main categories.
Also, please run no, run what you find
Trying
fun.
to.
Please run black and white too.
Running
Please run
alternative.
black and white.
Goa, can you tell your game to stop killing us? People that
No.
are trying to run this.
Running alternative categories is a good way to keep your interest alive in a game, and it's good practice because it's slightly different. You're still playing the same game mechanics.
The way I got into Pokemon Speedrunning to begin with was just like doing short randomizer races, so that was kind of an alternate category if you look at it that way. So
Oh, what
It's
if
like
they do
a-
a randomizer leader? No, that's silly.
I didn't wait. I didn't wait. No, I didn't. I didn't want this.
No, I'm kind of curious if is that pushing the boat too far?
Yes.
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 No, come on, guys, it's fun.
Alright.
Randomize set seed,
What's the next
Uh,
topic?
or randomize allowed to set seed, and then it's the routing of finding the best seed.
Oh my lord.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, you may as well just join the Pokemon hacks categories then.
True.
The ROM.
I can see a bunch of Snap runners appearing in the chat, and I feel a little bit bad because we moved Snap a little bit later. Stick around, guys, it's coming, I swear. So, next topic. Going to go back to Let's Go. Obviously a big piece of news for the past few months. This was world record as of two days ago? At 48
I believe
hours
that's
ago?
correct.
By Headstrong. And then, well, we'll get to the and then in a minute. But Headstrong got a 3:12.21, which cut Retrotato's 3:13 by a minute. First 3:12. Retrotato's 3:13 actually was this month as well. We skipped over that a little bit.
3:13:31, the same time as Black and White 2. Fun fact.
Knew that time seemed familiar. So, big time save for Headstrong comes towards the end of the run. I have a nice little note from JP saying that previous PB died to the Kangaskhan
No.
trainer.
Sorry. That's not for Headstrong.
Is it not?
No, not for Headstrong.
Oh,
that's
Hash
for
Rice.
the next
No.
one we
No.
we
You
talked about.
highlighted Headstrong's thing and then put it for Hash. I'm getting
Literally the
sabotaged.
first
I
word.
apologize.
Hash rice.
Oh, shut up. That's not a professional podcast. We've been over this. To be fair, I think I highlighted the right section for Hash Rice's PB as well, where it's the massive time save. So yeah, that was a load of rubbish. You can ignore all of that. Hash Rice's PB is just a general bits of time save over every split. I think the comment on SRC was that she expected that this would go sub 310. Or that it could be taken to sub 310.
Oh, well then.
Well, yeah.
Well then.
No spoilers. No spoilers. But yeah, she's very, very happy with this run. Judging from the tone, I think done with the category for now. So this was record since January 21st, so it stood for about 8 days. And then a previous world record holder in Hash Rice gets the sub 310. Garf, how good was this run?
Okay, I had a quick look at it, and I just first of all, I'd like to talk about just some of the route changes, because these route changes were in effect last week, but I think like everyone was a bit, busy with Christmas and stuff, or didn't know too much about the run. So the biggest change is that these I think all of these records we've mentioned this week don't revive the fossil anymore, because even though you get it, you have to like go into a building, then go into another room, then revive the fossil, and then go out again. And you would previously also fly to Pewter City to get the old amber for Aerodactyl to revive that as well. So it was a bit of a detour. Instead, what you do is to get a fast mount, you use a lure on Pokemon Road, catch a high level Ponyta, and evolve that. So then you have Rapidash as your mount. So I think Etiquette calculated it saves around 45 seconds, assuming you get good catches.
Wow.
So yeah, what you can do if you're not sure you're going to be able to have enough Pokemon to do that is you can keep hold of your fossil and just use it and then just revive it if you need to. But Hash Rice sells the Helix fossil, so he doesn't have that luxury. So yeah, that's just a little optimization that is pretty widely accepted to be. Most people, I think, pretty much everyone goes for that now if they can. And yeah, that's the biggest route change. Actually, something I want to highlight in Hash Rice's run. If you go to like around 2:44, 41 in the video, like on the video time, there's I looked through, and that was like the most interesting fight for me. It's the rival fight at after Giovanni.
Vermilion rival, right?
Yeah, the Viridian rival.
Yeah, Viridian. Yeah,
This
Viridian
man with
rival.
the timestamps.
Yeah, well, I just had a quick look beforehand, and so what you normally do on this fight is you set up a guard spec so that you don't get sand attacked, and then you set up a bunch, and then you sweep. So pretty simple, but it goes a little bit wrong for Hash Rice because he gets crit a few times by Pidgeot. So you might be able to guess what's coming here, because the guard spec only lasts for 5 turns. What do you think happens on the last turn of setup?
Sand attack.
Oh no.
based pocket sand.
I can just see.
So
I can hear Crafted getting like PTSD from /crits as well.
So basically what he has to do is he has a few very dangerous Pokemon he has to hit a 75% accurate move against. Vileplume can kill you with Petal Dance. And Raichu can kill you with, I think, well, I'm not sure if it can kill you with Thunder Punch from the HP he's at, but it can definitely kill you with Thunder. But, so yeah, that would have been a bit of a scary moment for him.
Get lucky.
That's what happened. Yeah, just get lucky, and so yeah, he managed to get through that. But that must have been a pretty scary moment for him. I think he probably had enough special attacks to just go to +2 and go for Hydro Pump on Raichu, and then you would just only have had to miss to risk like an 80% accuracy range, but it's possible that he just was hoping not to get stand attacked on the final turn of setup, which is also pretty reasonable. Anyway, it worked out for him, so... But it was a bit of a scary moment when I was watching the video back.
But did he use Kadabra for the hideout?
No, I think I'm the only one who does that.
Do you think it's better?
Well, if you catch Abra quickly, I think it is better. I timed like the bits in the hideout and around there. I haven't timed the differences between, because you have to like, there's a point where you have to set the nature for your, where you can like set the nature for all the Pokemon you catch that day, and you set it to modest in the normal route, but you have to set it for timid for Kadabra because you need it to be plus speed to outspeed Archer's Golbat. So that changes a few of the fights later on. Some of them, most of them are a bit worse. Some of them are a bit better. So I don't know exactly how much time you lose. The biggest time also would be in the Kangaskhan fight because you can't just X special attack and Hydro Pump and win, which you can do with plus special attack nature. But I don't think you can outspeed Agatha's Gengar with a modest Starmie. Maybe you can with ridiculous speed, but I don't think so. But yeah, I think I'm just happy that I found a route that's got like that's a bit of a fun difference to it that is about as fast. Because I've tried to look for a few oddball mains and they've just ended up not being competitive, and just the fact that Let's Go requires you to catch all these Pokemon really helps with these slightly quirky strats like using Kadabra in the hideout.
I remember, didn't you try and use Zangoose in
Yeah,
Auras?
I tried to use Zangoose in Auras. You use the Dex Nav to get it 10 levels higher, and still the experience curve was so awful that I ended up needing to get extra experience for some of the fights. It was dumb.
I remember trying to route in Auras for a little bit, getting... I think it's the Dex Nav thing where you get egg moves as well on Pokemon. I went to get a Surskit with Hydro Pump. I thought that would be like stellar, but it was so unlikely to find one that was at a decent level as well.
Yeah, I think like there's a few things like that where people have thought, oh, this will be cool if you have the patience to get it to work. But like, yeah, also, I think I remember Worcester was saying like, way back, he was like, oh, if you get a Punyuta with Play Rough, that'll be really fast. But nobody really wants to grind for that. So
God, no.
I think ECAST did Swallow, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was IMAX did that too, and that was in the PSR marathon. But it wasn't fast as in the standard route, unfortunately. It's a shame.
I think the time is still pretty competitive though. Like I'm pretty sure the Swallow PB is actually still pretty good.
That Gut Swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you use it with Guts and Facade and all that good stuff.
So how much farther can Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee go? Like, are we looking at 306? Are we looking at 307? Like, what do we think now the upper end?
Sub 3.
The dream.
That is the dream. I'd be surprised if we got sub 3. But well, I mean, it's hard to tell for me because my time's not like low enough for me to really be like, okay, this is the limit of the category. And it's also like you lose time to a lot of things that you kind of forget about after you've moved on from that section. Like there's a few breakouts here, a few missed throws there, or a few times when you run into wild Pokemon that pop up that you didn't want to catch here. Just like bits like that. That kind of thing can add up, and it's hard to keep track of all that in your head when you're doing a run.
Very true. Also, I guess we don't know exactly how many breakouts he got because he doesn't keep track of that. Well, actually, he might. I'm not sure what the the blue marker is on the bottom left of his Pokedex.
Have we explained breakouts? And when I say have we, I mean we haven't, because Amoeba doesn't know what they are.
So
just like when you chuck a Pokeball and the Pokemon breaks out of it. That's all that's meant by that.
All right. So are they pretty rare then?
No, you're expected to get like a few. You're expected to get a few in the run. I think Headstrong had like 3 breakouts in her 312, which was insanely good. I think it was her 312 anyway. It was one of her PVs. But yeah, I don't know how many. I don't think that the 4 represents the number of breakouts in Hash Price's thing. I think someone brought that up before. And
Yeah, I've just found it. Oro said it means excess.
oh, okay. So it's probably like Pokemon that could be evolved but aren't. Okay.
I was just scrolling through to see if where it changed, but
From 0 to 3.
yeah, it's pretty quick. So moving on from Hash Rice's 1 player 1 controller record, we have Retrotato's 1 player 2 controller record. As we'll see when we get to the last category in a second as well. But Retro actually took the triple records across Let's Go this month. 1 point holding any percent, 1 player 2 controllers, and 2 player 2 controllers with Chibi Desu. Yeah, judging from the time of this and by his comments, not really bothered with this category as much. Like, this was the one that this is effectively like true any percent, I guess, but not because it's a different control scheme. It's weird, but you can use a second trainer and use second Pokemon and second Pokeballs and items, etc. to provide an advantage, but the significant time difference kind of shows that people aren't really interested in this yet.
It's just a bizarre category because you're not. You kind of just tag in the second player whenever you want, and it's well. I mean, it might be more interesting if you're using 2 players at all times, but I don't think that's really reasonable to do.
There's a lot of like extra animation stuff that you got to deal with. Like if you want to keep the second player on screen the entire time, like you got to be sure that it's moving with you, or else it'll go off screen, and that's like a 2-second animation or something like that. And then like calling your partner in battle is like an additional time loss there as well. So like there are certain fights that it could definitely benefit with having the second player. But there are a lot of fights, as seen by the current 1 player 1 controller records, that you just don't need the second player.
Yeah, there's it gets a lot of use. Oh, it seems to get a lot of use in Elite 4 where they're setting up multiple items.
Yeah, that's the biggest space. Like Lance is actually the one that comes to mind when it comes to the second player, because normally you have to do like 4 different setup items on Seadra, and you've got the possibility of dying to critical hits. But if you have the second controller active, you can just kill all of Lance's Pokemon while you're setting up everything, and you'll be fully set up by the time you hit Dragonite.
So I think I said this last month, but I'd kind of expect this category to potentially take off once the routing for the 1 player 1 controllers settled down. Once there's like a definitive good route, maybe see people branching into this, or it may be that it just drops off. People just aren't interested in it at all.
And it looks like he didn't even bother with the second player,
Lance
even, who's just like setting up on Seadra on his own. So,
well, there you go.
I guess forget that.
You have the interesting question as well that you could do a 1 player 1 controller run, bring in the second player right at the end, and then just be like, hey, world record, lol.
you could. There's nothing stopping you, I suppose.
Yeah, but he'd probably be really pissed off if you pulled off a 308 or something like that. You just do it. Yeah, I tagged a dude in right at the beginning. Like, God's sake.
Hit 10-minute world record. Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, the triple world record break. Pretty much expecting that. The game's 2 months old. Very, very popular already, even for a Pokemon. I'll say especially for newer ones.
Yeah, but that's good because it means that like there are definitely people interested in Pokemon speedrunning. It's kind of hard to get into recent Pokemon speedrunning because you usually need like a modified 3DS or DS in order to run the newer generations of games. And this one, you just need an HDMI capture card. So it's a lot easier for people to get into. And it's a very simple route too. Like to get a decent time, you don't have to do anything super extravagant.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really nice, in an odd way, it was an odd game for the Pokemon community as a whole, but it was a very nice gift to the speedrun community. The number of new faces on the leaderboard is great. So, from there, we've had a Garfield Talks Here section, so now we're going to have a Scoa Talks Here section. This is the Japanese Diamond and Pearl Any Percent World Record by Punyuta, who I believe ran this same category at RTA in Japan last month.
Yeah, I believe he did. But in true fashion, you have clicked the probably only bad part of the run.
Yeah, well, he wrote it in the comments, so what was I going to do?
So this is the first ever Japanese Diamond Any Percent record. It has use of extended manip. That's simply only because it was only made a while ago. Punyuta was looking into it whenever Buster still had the record, like last month, and he must have finally got it working, and this is the first run he did with it. Like, it is a very, very good run. Obviously, there's still room for improvement, but as you can see, the tweaking maybe wasn't the best, because Crafted will probably be able to explain it better than I can, but like with the way the load lines work, sometimes you have to do some of the tweaks slightly differently. So, I mean, that must have thrown him off a little bit, so...
Tweaking's a bit of a nightmare.
If you cross the first load line before you do the tweak, then the second tweak is like in a different place. And then the same for the third tweak. If you cross the load line before doing the second one, the third one's in a different place.
Yeah, that must have just thrown Punyuta off a little bit, but I mean, the run's still very, very good, so massive props to him for that. But with regards to how low the time can probably go, I'd say maybe like another 40-ish seconds could probably come off of it. I don't know.
40?
Now, yeah, so, and the timing's different between the English and the Japanese as well.
Yeah, so the way the Japanese timing works is, because in English we start the first fully white frame after the game. The Japanese start like whenever you press A on the title screen to actually like begin the game, because it's like the closest thing to a new game button that you can get in Gen 4, I guess. And then their time finishes whenever the credits appear on the bottom screen. So like the entire credits sequence is included in the timing for them. So that adds quite a bit onto the final time. I think it's some like 4 to 5 minutes onto the final. But that's simply just because the Diamond and Pearl credits are so freaking long.
It's like roughly the same time as the Japanese text saves.
Yeah, I was talking about this earlier actually. I think it's just the times, like the Japanese times will always just be slightly longer because of the credits.
That's your normal JRTA. It's like this in a number of different other games as well with the Japanese time.
I'm a fan of the boot up timing because it makes it really easy to retime. Just the first white frame is the start, rather than trying to work out which frame they press start on. It's like,
because it's audio only,
really annoying.
Isn't it?
Also feels like a bit of a game of chicken as to, oh well, I could just wait a bit longer to press A at the title screen, and then just mash through the intro extra fast so that I can get to the manip, the manip faster.
That's exactly what I do.
Well, yeah. So that's I feel like that makes the intro a bit
scary,
a bit frantic.
Like the best example I can think of is Platinum Glitchless, because there's like normally a bit of a wait anyway, but with Japanese, like the wait time, if you did it from like boot up or something, or if you just mash through, there's like 30 seconds that you have to wait or something.
30 seconds? Oh my lord.
But like, because there's already a bit of a wait anyway, so like if you just wait on the title screen for like 20-25 seconds, then you can just mash through, and then pretty much as soon as you can actually press A is whenever the manip is timed.
Garfield was really hurt by that 30 seconds as well.
30 seconds? It's crazy. I thought the frames like cycled after a while, so you get like the same set of stats on the next frame, like 1,000 frames down or something. So having to wait 30 seconds.
Alright. Because in English, like you normally set your timer to like minus 8.80 for it. I have my Japanese splits up, and mine's at minus 36.80. So I just kind of sit on the title screen for about 28-ish seconds.
Well, 30
just
seconds
waiting.
is 1,800 frames anyway, so that probably does match up the cycle.
Yeah.
Probably, I suppose.
When's it getting beaten, Scar?
It's worth noting.
How do I ban him from his own podcast?
This is worth noting that we started playing Terraria recently. As Sko's named himself, I don't like Mars. If you know anything about Diamond and Pearl, you'll know all about Commander Mars and their level 16 for ugly.
It's kind of crazy how this is one of the shorter Pokemon speedrun categories, and yet it's probably causing you like more problems than any of the longer categories.
This is probably the worst. Like, I preferred my 315 grind to this.
God.
I actually had fun with Black. This is just to the point where I just want to, and then I'm probably never going to play the category ever again.
Well, at least it's only an hour long.
Yes, but the amount of bullshit they've crammed into that 1 hour is so big.
They specifically designed this speedrun.
Yes, they did.
We know people are going to be able to glitch specifically after this trainer, so make this one a bitch. Specifically this one. Yeah, congrats to Punyuta. I think that's our only Japanese... No, it's not the only Japanese record. We will have one in the leaderboard roundup. Moving on.
Well, Japanese tech.
Yeah, we had hashed rice already.
Oh god, yeah, sorry. I forgot hash rice. My apologies. So from here we've got _PY working his magic. This is a Bellsprout for Manip for his I say personal category, anybody can run it, but I believe he's the only one running it at the moment, which is just using Bellsprout as a main. But the significance of this Manip is that it manips no encounters, the Bellsprout appearance, the Bellsprout stats, and for the first time ever in Gen 2, yoloball Manip.
See, the real significance of this is that Worcester didn't use it for his Rocky run, so that means it's beatable.
How would you Manip catching a trade?
No, you catch the Bellsprout and then you trade.
Ah. Alright, got me. GG. I'll take that out.
I hate
This
whenever
is actually...
I can't catch my trades.
This is actually kind of significant, especially when we're considering the other category extensions as well, because not only like do you have the possibility of getting good stats and like being able to manip gnome encounters for like your glitch for your regular any percent glitchless runs, that is normal category, but for something like Crystal Battle Tower, you could get a lot better statted Pokemon for the Battle Tower, and you can see times get reduced that way.
I didn't think of the application for Battle Tower, but yeah, that's a very good point. DVs are going to make a massive difference in that. Yeah, just the ability to YOLO Ball Manip, the Manip in general, is big news for Gen 2 speedruns. Poi's a bit of a beast at that sort of thing. From here...
Yeah, Poi goes crazy with manips. He's done stuff with Gen 4 as well. He just like did some crazy manip to catch Moltres at one point for like, Elite 4 round 2.
There's him and Worcester that worked on the Platinum Elite 4 round 2. Just that whole thing post.
The chain manip.
Yeah.
And also the level 50 tentacruel.
Yeah, double tenta.
Yeah.
Just by going through doing Pokemon Black and trying to get encounterless Route 1, I know that these manips are like crazy to work.
The black one's quite nice for manips, really.
When it's extended manip.
When it's worth saving. I believe Crafted
Sco-
has some hot opinions on this.
Yeah.
I
Well,
actually
it's not
have
worth saving. But I have an idea of how to extend it without saving, which is my idea would take a lot of routing, but technically possible if someone could be bothered to route it.
When you say
For
a lot
black?
of routing, are you
For
going to wait?
black.
Are you going to wait?
You
for
basically
it?
I think
have
I have
me
this.
in the
I think I
call.
have the same idea, actually.
What is it?
Timed inputs during X trans.
Yeah, my idea is pretty much start flow timer when you start the call, and then try and end the call on a frame, but have like a cluster of like 4 frames, and then when you get into the next city, look at the NPCs and know which frame you're on, so that you can adjust the RNG before you get to the next call to be at the same point, and then time the input for the second call as well, and have like a 4-frame window for that, where all 4 frames get no encounters, and you can like use the NPCs or whatever and converge them all at the same point when you get to the next city, and then minute pan sage and everything in a minute woobat, and then yeah.
Would you all
Yep.
stop? I'm going to be
Easy,
sick.
right?
No, but you would. No, you wouldn't manip Woobat. You'd wait and manip a Pidove and Pinwheel
Oh yeah,
Forest.
yeah. Manipipidov in the forest as well.
Jeez, you got to sustain it that long. Wow.
God.
This is what means
it's gonna be
started.
insane.
I mean, it would be cool if it worked though.
That is so much work, though. Because that's, what, 4-frame windows 4 times?
I might route it though, because it'd be a fun challenge,
God.
like a routing challenge.
Please don't make me go back.
I'm impressed.
Well, you'd have to
and
route
disgusted.
it as well.
You're waiting for Buster to go back first.
Yeah, I know, but I actually want to do that one. I don't want to do English again.
The
Skylar
fun
made
thing
me too
is,
mad.
the fun thing is, everyone would have to do it if they, because it's based on your DS. So
Oh, yeah.
everyone who wanted to do it would have to do it all themselves.
Oh, God,
Yep.
yeah. That's such a hard wall.
Hey, Crafted, would you like to make a guide about this?
No, I'll just ship crafted my DS and it'll be fine.
Crafted becomes like the Gen 5 version of Loopy. Send me your DS and $50 and I will
Yeah, I'll
send
do-
it back with
I'll-
minutes.
I'll throw in Droba Manip as well for an extra £5.
Ooh.
Only 5? What?
Or for like $10 less, I can send you in the instructions and you can install your manip yourself.
Yeah, I'll give you access to my tutorial.
It is now an unlisted
Just like-
video.
Paid paywall for a tutor. Oh, God. Let's not, guys. Let's not. Moving on, because boy, we took a detour there. We have a brand new leaderboard for one of the oldest Pokemon games going, seeing as it wasn't in this millennium. Pokemon Pinball finally gets a lead, thanks to Retrotato for asking and running the game itself. So we have some default world records, I'd say, although people have already run both categories a fair bit. So we've got HG Finn showing up, who was a big, was it Mystery Dungeon Sky? Yeah, it was. Took second place, then took the record over the last couple of months. So Mystery Dungeon Runner's coming into another side game, which I like. We have Retrotato at the top of this leaderboard here. It's actually old news. Fake news, if you... Because Mr. 4th place dead last 8 Echo got this run 5 hours ago. Which is an absolute chunky PB if you look at the splits. Jesus Christ, he jumps from a 27 to a low 14. To a
What the
mid
heck?
14.
Well, it's cut off half the time of his run. That's crazy.
I've watched Retro do a few runs of this, and the variance in this is ridiculous. Like, it makes Pinball RS look like a reasonable speed game.
Yeah, I was in Retro stream when AEtienne hosted him and said, "Hey, I got the time," and Retro was basically like, "Yeah, I knew you would get this after seeing you do several attempts because like your runs had been really good. So like apparently he's been putting some good time in it.
I might have to unmute for a second. This boy looks like he popped off.
He did.
My favourite thing as well is this last bonus game looks hard. Like, because they only beat it with like 10 seconds left.
Oh my fucking god!
It was nice seeing people happy with their
god.
BBs.
No.
So congratulations to him. I'm glad there's more pinball runs happening. Yeah, 14 minutes for both categories really. 14:37, so they're within 6 seconds of each other. Significantly different from its Ruby Sapphire counterpart. If you're interested in running pinball, I'd say give Retro a shout. He's been working on both categories. Yeah. Very nice. Moving on from there. Podcast favourite TiKevin drops another 5 whole seconds off of his task.
Well, this man stooped to no depth to get him to stay relevant on his podcast. I mean, what?
I swear
come on, dude.
he holds on to some of these time saves. Just ekes one out every podcast. Just creates a new one. We'll release this one this time.
I mean, you gotta get your name drop in there every
yeah.
podcast.
Well,
He's already got the next 10 seconds, one for each podcast for the next 10 months ready.
Well, to be honest, he's wasted his opportunity for this one because he will be appearing in the next segment. So, poor choice for him for wasting it on this one. But yeah, as his description in task video says, this was thanks to work from Mr. Wint for creating new Pikachu DV manip. And I'll be honest, there was talk and explanation about how this Pikachu cutscene now goes faster because they pick a default name. I'm too stupid to understand why.
Well, you don't have to be too stupid. It's because Game Freak in Gen 1 were not good programmers.
No, true.
Or maybe they were really good programmers, but you just had to crack the code.
Maybe they really built in replayability. What they did, it was
They
like
foresaw TiKevin doing this and
leave
gave
it
him the
just
time save.
broken enough, and people still want to play it.
It's amazing how new things are still being discovered about this game so many years later.
It's amazing how much gets discovered despite the fact we have arbitrary code execution. Now people have gone from, well, we can do anything, but can we do anything faster? How do we get there? Obviously NSC has the requisite that no save corruption. Uses a combination of Pokemon Delete and other magic to write straight to the RAM and get themselves to Hall of Fame. So yeah, TASes are a kind of a rare thing at the moment, so I'm always hot for dropping any Pokemon TASes into the podcast where we can.
Well, tassing is a lot of work to put in for it, so like a new one coming out is usually a significant amount of work, even if it's 10 minutes. So good job to TiKevin for.
For anybody listening to this or not watching it live, TiKevin is giving us the run by in the chat and has said that he has a 50 frame save yellow glitchless if he can manage to rewrite the entire run. So this man is prepared to rewrite an hour 50 pass. I'm taking a rough estimate there, I don't remember, for the sake of less than a second.
Also, shoutouts to Mr. Wint as well for this because for this improvement, because I believe he was responsible for the Pikachu DV manip.
I think I meant to say that and then may not have happened. I was definitely going to read that bit.
The Pokemon Yellow version task for regular any percent is 1 hour, 36 minutes, 42 seconds.
Heck. Fast. Silly. Right. And then I think there's a lot of people waiting in chat for this. Waiting nice and patiently. We're moving on to the title of this podcast. It's the Snap Special. Because Snap has been going ham, especially this month. It's been picking up pace recently, but it's really, really gone ham. And this is the first of 3 records set this month. This is... I was educated. This is not Lvon, this is Lvon. I'm pretty dumb, Judge. Lvon's record, and I think I've done exactly the same thing I always do and highlight the worst bit of the run, because this is something here. But this is the 2050 that tied... At the time, tied Quo's 2050 was a tied record. Of note here, he's like 7 seconds ahead coming out of River. Does lose most of that, because his PB at this point was 2051, it was only 1 second behind. There is a bit of variance in this run with point management. I don't know if it comes into play for this run to be fair, but they have to have a minimum amount of points to be able to progress in the game and to buy items, right points. But Lvon's been running this for a while. Picks up the 2050. This was 11 days ago. Then moving on. This is 5 days ago? 6 days ago? 5 days ago. This is Drogie. I have absolutely highlighted the one mistake in this run where he touches that Metapod and loses about 3 or 4 seconds, as is my skill. So this is 2049, first sub 2050, and unties the record that was held for 4 days by Lvon and Quo. Judging from the comments, was quite upset with the Metapod kiss. Otherwise, was happy with the run in general. Drogie actually was the guy I actually initially contacted to speak to him about this run, so I do want to give him a quick shout out. He didn't unfortunately have the time to speak to me on it because of personal responsibilities and scheduling, but actually organised my ability to talk to everybody in the Snap community about the runs and the progress recently, so I do want to give him a big thank you. Yeah, so this was record number 2. And then while I was talking to Drogie about his record, Mr. Quo, who was the original 2050 holder that Lvon tied, then beat his own PB and beat the world record down to a 2045. So that makes the triple record. Drops the record overall by 5 seconds, which may, for a Pokemon speedrun, doesn't sound like much, but as we'll get into with an interview coming up, Bo reckons that the kind of hard limit for how the route sits at the moment is a 240, maybe a 239, 238. This is a highly optimized speedrun. That's to Mrs. Candaria in the chat, another big Snap runner. Nice to see everybody dropping in. So I think this will be a good point. I'm going to play... I had a chat with Quo, who is the runner for this particular run. I'm going to start his run from a couple of minutes in. Got that playing. And we'll just take 15 minutes just to listen to my chat with him. Please enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the any percent record was broken for the first time in a year and a half, like 2 weeks ago, so...
3 times in a row now, isn't it? Because it went, what was it, Lvon?
Yeah. Yeah,
Drogie.
Lvon tied it, and then Drogie beat it by a second, and now I beat his. So.
What did you beat his time by?
I beat it by 4. So we get a 2049, I have a 2045.
I haven't actually seen the video yet, so that's fresh news for me.
The video, I mean, I got it like an hour ago, the video is still rendering. It's not up on YouTube yet, but it isn't glorious.
That's half the press news.
When it's going to.
Yeah, I mean,
when it will be.
All my knowledge of Snap comes from CCNeverender's brilliant world record progression video.
Yeah,
So-
he definitely put in the work for that and explained it quite well.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff he glossed over, obviously, because I mean, it's a 20-minute video of explaining a 20-minute run.
Yeah.
On that run, but such is life. There is a lot of technicalities to Snap, but a lot of it seems lost because it is a bit of an on-rail shooter.
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
It does seem a bit of a backwards one for a speedrun in a way, because it all looks like it's, you know, set times, but isn't lag reduction such a massive thing for N64 games in general, I guess?
Well, any N64 game, basically. Some GameCubes, but yeah, lag reduction is huge, especially because the Nintendo 64 is not exactly optimized to play this game. Even in the Wii version that was released, I think 7 years after the N64 version came out, there's still a bunch of lag. And then the Wii U Virtual Console version is lagless, but the controls in that one are less to be desired, let's say.
Yeah,
Reduction.
No, Wii U VC games have just massive input delay, don't they? Just from what I've heard from Ocarina of Time and similar games.
It's Ocarina of Time 64 is pretty notoriously bad, but in this game it's not that bad. Then again, I used to play this game straight off of Amarek, which had like 4 frames of lag or something like that. So I'm used to playing with a delay.
That is brave.
I switched my setup since then, but
Yeah, I'm a CRT boy, so
yeah,
makes my skin crawl.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, Wii U, the controls are a bit rough because there's like such a tiny dead zone that like anything will just make your camera swing super wildly, and there are a lot of really specific shots in this game, which I'm sure if you show gameplay you'll have a bunch to pick from.
Oh, yeah, we'll have your, but hopefully by the time the podcast is happening, we'll have your video playing while this is going. So
Beautiful.
I'll do
but yeah.
camera work.
Back to lag, because we sort of went off topic there.
Yeah.
Lag is definitely, or lag reduction rather, is definitely a big part of the any percent routes, because basically whenever you're not doing anything, you shouldn't be looking at anything, because you lose like 10 to 15 seconds per level in lag, which is rough.
Damn, yeah.
Hmm?
I was just saying, yeah, wow. 10 to 15 is a ton.
The other thing that's less obvious, I would say, is you can actually move the cart. So it is on rails, but there's a certain like area where you can sort of move left and right. And if you move left, right, or if you look backwards, the cart actually slows down. There's a bunch of management of that mechanic as well, which I'm 100% sure CC's going to go over that, and he can probably because he's good with words.
So I guess you have to kind of balance needing to do that to take some better pictures with time loss it creates.
Yeah, so there is a way to get around that by locking in the camera while looking forward or like looking to the side or stuff. So it's not as hard as I might make it seem, but there's definitely, that's probably the biggest thing other than points, which we'll talk about in a sec. That the camera movement, camera movement and cart mechanics are like the biggest thing that separates like good from less good runner.
So it's
Definitely something to work on.
as I heard you mention points, and I've seen just from watching Lvon's run how he mentions after River Stage that all the points are looking very good here.
Yeah, so so to beat the game, we should have started with this actually. So to beat the game, you need to get Mew, which is only unlocked once you get the 6 Pokemon signs, and the 6 Pokemon signs are only unlocked after you do all the courses the first time. But to unlock courses, you need a certain number of Pokemon, and then to unlock items, which is needed to either unlock courses or get Pokemon, you need a certain number of points. So a lot of the route revolves around those two things, so getting the number of Pokemon that you need and getting the points that you need for that. So a lot of the pictures you'll see us will have to position them fairly, the window isn't too lenient for a lot of them, to get good points on them.
Yeah. So, anything specifically that went very nicely or possibly very poorly in your current world record, PB?
Yeah, I'm actually watching this part of the render right now. Right after Valley, you start doing the Pokemon signs, and the cave sign, I think I lost like 3 seconds to that. Which, if you consider up to that point that I was plus 2 seconds on my gold splits, 3 seconds is a lot.
That sounds nice though. Plus 2 seconds on gold.
Oh, definitely. It was, I think, entering Valley was my best time by 2 seconds. So that's a little more than. So it definitely felt good. And then right after Valley, huge mistake, which did not feel good. And then the rest of the run was average. So.
I mean, that sounds like an excellent start, if nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the start's going to be rough to beat if I want to try to improve this.
How far do you reckon it could be taken then? It's, I can't remember his name. Is it Liam Kings, who was only the 5th person to sub 21? That happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, never played the game before this month, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I taught him how to play at AGDQ. He had never seen a run before. I think he's just on another level.
That is amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, Liam became the 5th person. So what was the order? Lvon got it first, and then Drogie, and then me, and then Calcium Lemon, and now Liam Kings. And there's a bunch of people that have like potential, like CC has potential, Project has potential, Toast has potential, but I think he quit Snap. Yeah. The game is a bit rough, but yeah, a lot of people have potential to do it, but how far? What's my goals? It's just best split times. Nope.
True stats here.
True stats.
Just look at the sum of best. Definitely achievable.
I don't have that showing. Oh my god, why can I not pick this? Oh well, okay, what I think is sub 2140, no, sub 2040 rather, would be the limit, I think.
Oh, wow, so you're 6 seconds away from that.
Yes.
That's so optimized.
Yeah, well I mean, you know, how do you optimize Snap, right? It's on Rails.
Well, you say that, but only 5 people sub 21? Like,
that's true.
I'd say, I mean, I love like super optimized, not necessarily shorter ones, but the super optimized ones where it's like you're eking seconds out of it. I love it when like that kind of like hard limit where you know you're not really going to get much better than 2040s.
Yeah, for sure. I think Snap is being pushed to the limit. One big drawback to Snap though is that the game emulates really, really poorly. And there's like no accurate N64 emulator that can run it. So a lot of the things like we just guess at what we think is optimal. There's been a lot of like testing and stuff, but we don't have like practice ROMs or stuff like that we can really push the game further. So I think if those come out, then Snap can be pushed. I'm not sure how to guess numbers here. Maybe like 20, like a low 2030 or something like that. But until that happens,
fingers crossed for an OOT style practice ROM then.
Oh, hopefully. I know that Mario
Project 64.
Yeah, that's the rough part. I know Mario 64 has like a lag counter in their practice ROM, which is really cool. So that would be nice. And then there's always new things to be tested. There's new strats coming out. I wouldn't say all the time, but a lot of the time. There was... What's new in this run? I think from Drogie's run, it's relatively the same. He just had a big mistake that I didn't have, which is...
The meta.
I'll take it. Yeah, that was a bit... But from the last world record, which was in June 2017, the first 2050 rather, as Lvon tied it. New things that happen. We have a different strat for Beach. We take Lapras earlier, so we take the first Lapras instead of the second one. We found out that you can actually get good points. We thought you could get like 200 before, but it's actually like 24.
Oh, yeah.
So that changed, which loses us points, but reduces a lot of lag.
So I guess you have to counterbalance that with a bit better points across the rest of that stage.
Yeah. For players that know when to take the pictures, generally getting points isn't that bad. The only bad part is Butterfree, just because there's a 2-frame window to get like the 3,500 point one to aim for, because after Valley, there's a certain point benchmark you want to hit to get apples early. So usually it doesn't really depend on the like 200 points that the second lapper sort of gave. It depends if his wings are open or not.
Right, unless you've got anything else, I want to thank you very much for this.
I guess one thing is future optimizations, which would be interesting. For the beginning, it's been pretty much, how do you say it? The route hasn't changed a lot for the beginning, but towards the end, there's a few new tricks, like the Weep and Bell Snipe that a couple of years ago now, I guess, is new.
I saw Lvon mentioned that in the 2050 video, something about how to do the Weeping Bell Snipe, or can we get a video for it? I guess that was something that he missed.
Yeah, he actually did miss. I forgot about that. It's because it's a trick that the setup is relatively rough, but also it depends on Weeping Bell's movement. So if you get bad luck, or bad energy rather, whichever you like, if you get bad luck there, then you miss the snipe, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just lose like 5-7 seconds, something like that.
Ouch.
And then there's 1 frame perfect trick, or no, it's 3 frames actually. And that trick saves like half a second, I think, and no one really goes for it. It's trying to get the first flash on the tunnel sign, and I practiced that for, I don't know, I'd say 2 hours, and I only got it like half the time, so I haven't implemented that in runs yet, but that would be something else to add.
God.
And then the last one, which is just a theory at this point, is going back to Beach. If you take Eevee way earlier, you lose a ton of points, but you could exit the level like 3 to 4 seconds earlier. But making up the points is easier said than done, let's say. But that's my my hopeful optimization for Snap, getting Eevee early.
Good. I mean, yeah, the Snap's been big this month, and I can imagine it's going to be big for a few more months now with the with multiple competition at the top of the leaderboard. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And with the tournament coming up, there's definitely a lot of interest right now.
Well, yeah, we'll be speaking to CC about the tournament. It's real good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you very much. That was far more than I would have ever known about this. Congrats again on your world record.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the any percent record.
All right, I forgot that my that video would loop back to the beginning. But yeah, big thank you to Quo for all that explaining. As I mentioned in that discussion, it's I know sod all about Snap. There's not anybody we've had on the podcast that does know much about Snap. TiKevin is the closest, and he's been running it for a month. So we do really. It's really nice talking to people who are enthusiastic about the game and want to share it. Like, and Quo was really open with discussing things. Drogie gave me, was really up for talking to me about it. And as you'll see with CC in a minute, he's been really open, really helpful with explaining things. As mentioned at the end of that interview, CCNeverender is hosting a tournament, a Snap Any Percent tournament. Sign-ups have closed. If you're interested in watching Snap tournaments, I'd really recommend it. He'll explain it in the interview, but the style that they're doing the tournament in is really smart. It's really geared towards how Snap works as a speedrun. So I'm going to fire that up now. This one's much shorter. It's only spoke to CC for 5 minutes, but I keep wanting to call you Neverlander. So sorry. I hear you're organising a Snap tourney.
I am organising a Snap tournament. It's the first ever Snap tournament.
Wow. Is it for any percent?
Yes.
Presuming.
Any percent is the predominant category.
Yeah, it's
more
far more
popular than any other
popular than
category.
100.
Yeah.
So, when is this starting? Where can we see it? How long do you reckon it's going to be running for?
So I'm going to be hosting the tournament on my personal channel, and it's going to start on February 8th. It's not the first weekend of February, but the second weekend. I might be doing some exhibition matches or something on the first weekend, but for the most part, it's all going to start. Yeah.
Makes sense. And so, do you know? I presume sign-ups are open right now. You have a
Sign-ups actually closed on Monday.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
shame. We could have that would have been good to shout out on the podcast if other people wanted it. Although it's probably a bit.
Yeah.
If you're not used to the game, it's probably a bit silly jumping straight into.
Yeah, we have a couple people who are pretty new. Like, we have like a TiKevin and Stump.
Shouts to Ty. He's been on the podcast. Cool guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love that guy. He's a good man. But he like just started, I think, a week before we closed the signups, and he's improved a lot since when he started. But he's still like 4 or 5 minutes behind everyone else.
Yeah, but he's on
And,
Wii U VC, isn't he?
He's on Wii U VC, which is actually a lot harder to get started on because it doesn't control as well. So
yes,
so,
said
like,
exactly the same thing.
yeah, he's got a very high mountain to climb. But it's just in the end, I think I hope he has fun. I don't really expect him to win many matches though. So it's like when you start off and you're pretty new and you jump right into a tournament, you gotta have that in mind. But I wish him the best of luck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's a man of many talents. Just a
Indeed.
yellow tasser as well.
Mhm.
So, how many entrants do you have, or are you not revealing that yet?
We currently have 23 entrants. And so let's see here. You asked me how long it's going to take. So the format that we have is a little different from like a regular tournament in that instead of doing just like a best of 3 race or whatever, I have a custom format that I think fits the game better. It's 1 hour, 5 attempts, right?
All right.
Whichever one comes first. So because RNG is such a major, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's a
Big factor in the run.
It's a big factor, yeah. So there's a part where we need an extra Pokemon to spawn, and there's technically a 58% chance that it will spawn, but sometimes you just don't get it. And so runners made it very clear they don't want to do a race where the defining factor is if Cloyster does or doesn't spawn, right? They don't want to lose a race because if you don't get it, you lose 30 seconds.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that makes
In
sense.
a run that's really optimized, like that 30 seconds is death, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I made this format because if you have 1 hour and 5 attempts, Cloyster is 11 minutes in, so you can do like 4 runs up until Cloyster to see if you get it. So it gives you like 4 chances to get a single good run in. So
Makes sense.
whoever gets the best attempt gets to move on.
Realistically, you've got a shot of finishing at least 2 full runs as well if you've got
Exactly.
an hours period. Oh, I like
Yeah.
the sound of that format. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes, I didn't
hopefully
actually know
it
about the
turns out
Cloyster
well.
issue.
Yeah. So with that said, there's 23 entrants. I think I counted there were like 40-ish matches. So it's gonna be like 40 hours worth of content.
Is it a bracket then, or are you doing round robin?
It's a bracket, yeah.
So it's single or double elim?
Double elimination.
Yeah, correct. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, single elim, because here's the thing is that because of the format that we have, a lot of it's this basic tournament seeding, right? Like 1 goes up against 23.
Yeah.
So I felt bad, I don't want to put some new runners up against the world record holder and then have them be out of the tournament for good. It's let's just do double elimination, that way they get some time, some more play time, and more chances. So.
It's a little bit disillusioning if you're new to a game and you enter a tournament and you just you lose once and you're out. You get to see everybody else play the same tournament still. Oh yeah, I can feel that. I agree with it.
Yeah.
So, starting February 8th, your Twitch, I believe, is CCNeverender.
That is correct.
So shout that out.
CCNeverender, all one word.
So, for anybody watching this, if you're interested in watching that tournament, go follow him on Twitch. I'll probably post it in the chat right about now if I'm any good at this podcast. Thank you very much for coming along.
My pleasure.
Good luck with your tournament.
Yeah.
Alright, so, oh, look at that, the video just finished. What is the odds of that? So I do want to give a big shout out to the Snap community in general, specifically Drogie, Quo, and CCNeverender, just for talking to me about it. It's a massive help. Even if you know a little bit about the game, talking to people that really know what they're doing is a massive help for explaining things properly. They were all great. And yeah, so Snap's doing big things right now. Obviously, the triple world record this month, the 5th, I think we mentioned this in the video, but the 5th sub 21 by Liam Kings, who's been running the game for less than a month. What the hell? Yeah, that was all completely planned. Scoa, shut up. Timed to perfection. Literal
This is
journalist god.
cyberbullying.
Yeah, we're going to go over the Snap leaderboard in our leaderboard roundup as well. Big thing to keep in mind when we do that is that a bunch of runners learn how to play this game, but from Snap runners going to AGDQ. So they kind of put on this what do you call it, class, I guess, on explaining how the game runs. It's how TiKevin got into it, it's how Liam Kings got into it, and it's how a bunch of other runners got in. So if you ever want people to run your speed game, teach them at GDQ. People love it. Great.
It helps that it's a nice sport category as well.
Yeah, I don't think in a way it's not. It's definitely execution intensive for the bits that it's intensive for, but it's not constant. It strikes quite a nice balance, right? Because for a lot of it is, lag reduction, looking at the floor, looking at the ceiling. But there's what bits have the execution look nutty, and it seems very rewarding to be able to hit the strats. And yeah, it's definitely a nice alternative, especially if you're a Pokemon runner in general, and you're looking for something to, pick up as a side game. This seems pretty optimal. Although I would recommend Pinball personally.
You just want pinball runners.
I just want pinball runners. We haven't
Well,
had a
host a
PB in like
class.
6 months. I can't afford to go to
No. Go to ESA. Do a class at ESA.
Everybody come to ESA. Everybody come to literally any marathon hosted in the UK this year, because I've applied to all of them, and I will teach you how to run pinball. Nobody will come.
Whether you like it.
Yes, teach me.
Crafted, you've already been to 2. You weren't interested. I tried. I go around like
I gave you my DS to run
You
pinball
did.
on.
Well, you gave me your DS to run pinball on because some idiot left the disc to run his Game Boy player in the hotel. So I had no other choice. And the run didn't have any audio because I'm a smart boy. But, moving on, we're going to take a quick look at the brand new... Oh no, we're not. Why is that not updated on stream?
Denied.
Well, yeah. OBS is... What's happening?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Hello?
What have you done?
It's just locked on the Snap video. I don't have that window open anymore. I don't know what to do.
This is your penance for not bookending the podcast with Snap. Just putting an hour in there, like.
Correct.
This is what you get for forgetting your
What you
Game Boy
get.
player disc.
Can I just check that, is anybody watching the podcast, can they see a different window? Because to me it looks like a dead YouTube window still.
No, it's
Yeah,
just the
it's
snap.
Oh dear. Oh dearie, dearie, dearie. Just a second. Right, fun fact for anybody watching this very professional podcast, that window does not exist. That's the one it's supposed to look like. We did it. Fuck knows what happened there.
Hey.
Professional
I say we.
podcast. We did it. I did it. Amoeba broke it. Anyway, last month we covered Juan Li Wei's brand new Pokemon Stadium world record. An interesting world record because Juan Li Wei's up until last month, had never run the game, and up until taking the world record, had done 5 attempts, of which he'd finished none of them. Not that Pokemon is a luck-based speedrun.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. But Dr. Sprinkles has come in this month and done exactly the same thing. Got it even faster.
The most ridiculous thing is this. Couldn't quite believe this when I heard the same thing happened for a second month in a row.
I mean, it's slightly more believable because Dr. Sprinkles has definitely run this game before. Not a brand new run to it. Yeah, he's got splits. He's got a 144. Let's just check if he's actually got it on.
I think this is like his second run though. On Twitter, he
Really?
said.
Yeah,
On Twitter, he
It is
says,
as well.
on Twitter, he says, "What an unbelievable way to come back home from GDQ and back into streaming. Picked up Gym Leader Castle for the lulz and had the luckiest speedrun of my life. WR baby!"
I really appreciate the effort that went into that. Oh, God, that is... I can't... Worcester must be rolling in his grave somewhere. Because he's clearly dead after these 2 records. Poor Worcester. R.I.P.
He's already dead to Stadium 2.
Yeah, true. Gone into the afterlife. It's the same game, but with a 2 in front of it. So, Huanliwei's decimates this run for everybody that's put so much work and time into it. The luckiest run ever. And then Doc Sprinkles gives him a taste of his own medicine. With an astoundingly lucky run. I'm kind of curious what the pop-off looks like. Where are we at?
Keys are on. We're putting them on speaker.
Does he call keys on?
Holy shit, I'm shaking. Keys are on. Dude, we fucking did it.
He actually does. Wow.
I can't fucking... What on earth, dude? That was the luckiest Elite Four. That was so fucking sick. Let's go! Let's go! Like 5 attempts. 5 or 6 attempts. World record!
That's okay. So we have contenders for the best pop-offs in Pokemon, in the Pokemon community this month. We started off with 8 Echo. I think Doc Sprinkles is taking it at the moment. Straight up cold Keezer on to tell him he'd got record. Imagine if he did that every time.
It's so crazy
Likely?
that this happened with Stadium 1 at all. Like, twice! Like, you gotta pop off on.
Yeah.
Lvon's roommates for his record. Oh, lovely.
Congratulations for Doc Sprinkles. Big shout outs to him in general because he is the guy who's tied my Pinball Sapphire Field record. God, he keeps bringing it back to Pinball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been around for a long time. He's a pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to a new name getting 133 next month.
Who's it going to be? Anybody in chat fancy it? Any of the Snap Runners fancy a side game?
As long as you haven't run Pokemon Stadium before.
As long as you haven't touched it before. You touched it before, get out. Not allowed.
Yeah,
But...
no chance. No chance.
I can do it.
I mean, I have the game. I haven't done it. Let's do it.
See, there you go. We've already got some likely candidates.
There you go, guys. Anybody that gets the stadium record by the time of the next podcast automatically gets a place. And if we already have 5 people, we'll kick Scoter off. It's fine.
What? I literally just said I would try to do it.
We'll kick you off for you then. It's fine.
Oh.
Bullying never ceases.
We'll kick you off for Protozoa. Bring back Protozoa.
You're literally bullying a 15-year-old.
Do you have to be
How do you
born
feel?
before the game came out? Sorry, Scoter.
Wow.
Oh, that's me.
This is bullying towards a 15-year-old. I'm sorry.
For anybody that doesn't understand that reference, Scoer wasn't born when a bunch of these games came out, including.
I was born in June of 2003.
Did you know that Scoagogo's a young boy? I don't think we ever mentioned this.
I don't think we've apart from every fucking podcast.
So
It's
gonna
just my
be a
job
thing
to make
where
you all
it's
feel
like-
old.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a thing where, like, 4 years from now, Sko is still going to be like a young
15.
kid? We're always going to call him.
He's the ZFG of PSR. He will always be 15.
Nice.
Can I just point out as well that on this 5-person podcast, I am the middle age. That's such a rare thing for me. I'm just going to revel in that moment for a second.
Freaking kids.
Get off my lawn.
Fucking youths. Your manips.
Yeah, see, I want to say I'm not the youngest, but that's like impossible, so...
Can we get anybody from the community who's actually younger than you? Or are you literally the youngest?
There are some other 15-year-olds. I'm not the only one.
We're going to have to check months. We're going to have to ID these people, find the youngest one. Anyway. So, we have mental age counts. The mental age counts, I'm always the youngest. We're fine. We have, from Pseudo Trainer, you have some bounties in Pokemon. If you want to make money, make $1 for running up Pokemon runs, switch to Gen 1 Classic. Pseudo Trainer will give you $50 for a record, and it's a big and, he will give you $50 for every record. If you sat there and you beat the record and you earned your fucking time, you nailed that run, then you beat it again, you get 100. Then you beat it again and you get $150. I think he set a hard limit on $1,000. If you can somehow pull out 20 records, or you could probably average it out and get 10 in each, you can make yourself $1,000.
Question, do the category extensions count?
No, it's specifically classic. Specifically classic, red and yellow. So the Japanese rule set for red and yellow, which involves no hard resetting, means you are not allowed to, well, you're not able to manip at all. It doesn't allow Pokédog glitch, so you have to do Rocket Hideout in, what is that town called? Celadon.
Mm-hmm.
And what else does it not do? Something else is a big one.
Text. It's not allowed in red.
Yeah,
Instant
no
text.
Pokédoll, no instant text.
That's the other one.
No manip.
Yeah. So, Pseudo Trainer's got times in these categories already. I believe record holder for both is Exarion as of last month, because he went on his Manipulous craze. So, let's take a look at, we've got links to the leaderboards right here. How convenient. Almost like it was planned. So Exarion has a 156. That seems pretty good, honestly, considering they do an entire extra section. I don't think it's amazing because I know Exarion didn't put a ton of time into these because he got record in about 5 categories a month. But Arayu with a 205. Obviously, we can see Pseudo's in 7th, yellow one. Hasn't run red. Clearly invested in them. You can see from the leaderboards they're a fairly quiet category, but it's relatively new. A little over a year old. People picking it up. Lonnie is a new face. Big Eats. That's an interesting comment. For this leaderboard. Wanley is not a new face, but BBs. We'll go over the rest of those a little bit later. But yeah, it's nice to see some bounties. I don't know the last time Pokemon had a overall bounty that wasn't specific to a person, because I know Exarion's had bounties open on his channel for a long while as an alternative to donations. Specific, like, open bounties are a rare thing, I'd say. Also a little bit difficult to police, but Pseudo is a renowned runner and in the community, so it's kind of like social suicide in speedrunning to be a known person, offer a bounty and not pay it. Yeah. There. Take a quick look at Gunner and Pokeguy, their GDQ race. If you didn't catch AGDQ at the beginning of this year, when was their race? Was it Saturday? Friday? That rings a bell.
It was Friday, yeah.
Friday, yeah. Gunner getting a very clean race. Very clean run. I'd say breaking a chain of, I think most of his other GDQ appearances, his runs have not gone well. Not particularly his fault. Not gone perfect. Pokeguy picks up that mantle, unfortunately missing a couple of manips and getting quite unlucky. There's the Goldeen trainer before, or just after Faulkner, sorry. I
Yeah.
think he dies a couple of times there. It's a hard fight. They basically reset over it. Yeah, this is
actually an optional trainer, but it's fought for the experience.
Yeah, experience gain's just massive. It's the alternative to doing the Onyx trainer, isn't it? Just inside the tunnel. Or am I talking?
I think you need to. I think you need to do that one to get water gun, to do the Onyx one.
Oh really? Let's take a look.
I don't know. I don't know the route that well.
Yeah, so we can see Pokeguy's on the Goldeen fight now. No, I think Gunner goes past. Oh no, sorry, I am talking at my ass. I think if I remember what they were describing in the video, it was they fight the Goldeen so that they have water gun for the Geodude guy.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you have to rage spam at least the first 2 Geodudes. It takes forever.
Jeez. That encounter tile where you're trying to dodge the spinner that Gunner had.
Bonker S.
Oh, and then it turns immediately to him. Wow.
Yeah, this was a good race. Both runners very experienced and very good at commentary. I'd say Pokeguy was a little quiet, but possibly expected for his first GDQ experience. It's a big stage. Gunner is relatively familiar, A, with the GDQ stage, and B, with big audiences in general. I enjoyed watching it. I watched all of it. And I don't even like Gen 2 runs. Shots fired.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Moving on. So we've got... That was a past marathon. We're going to take a look at upcoming marathons now. I say upcoming marathons, the only one we're taking a look at is ESA. Because we were made aware of this in the last marathon. And we didn't do our last marathon in the last podcast, and we didn't do our research. So we've really done our research this time. So, ESA Winter, happening from 18th to 23rd of February. Obviously on, I believe it's just the ESA channel. I don't actually know the proper name for it. And they have a Pokemon block. And they don't just have a Pokemon block, they have other Pokemon on top of the Pokemon block. So Friday the 22nd, this is in GMT, because I am GMT. So 2 in the morning. Oras by Wartab. One of the better Oras runners, I believe. I don't realise Wartab. No, because he does. Yeah, I did know that. He does round 2, doesn't he? Of course.
Yeah.
This is the 80% run. I think round 2 would be a bit too long for a marathon. But yeah, that's the first Pokemon run for ESA. Then we have Let's Go, a race between RoboSparkle and IrregularJinny. I believe this. I believe we were told in chat last month that Retro and somebody else was going to be racing them.
I heard it was going to be a.
They're gonna because Retro and Wartab are a bit more experienced in Pokemon runs than RoboSparkle and IrregularJinny. It's going to be, I believe, RoboSparkle and Retrotato are going to be against IrregularJinny and Wartab. And there's going to be like a kind of a tag team deal, as I understand it. But it doesn't say that on the schedule yet. But that's what I understand is happening.
It does say as the category one person, 2 controllers. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be 2-person, 2 controls. They're just going to like swap out, or if they're going to hand it over to the other player halfway through. But I
think considering the skill difference between the runners, as you said, I think an interesting one would be to have RoboSparkle and IrregularJinny on the main controller for each one, and then have like Coach Retro and Coach. I forgot who the other person was now. Wartab. Sorry, yeah, have them as coaching on the second controller.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work, but I guess the details will be ironed out.
Sure.
We'll find out. We'll find out within a month. Anyway.
First live marathon appearance for Let's Go. We are Wartab with the fresh news. They're not sure either. So, professional podcast reporting on a professional marathon. We'll find out. So from there, those are the 2 games. Separately, and then they have a Pokemon block pretty much to not quite wrap up stream, but it's pretty close. Final day starts off with a black race between Retrotato and AEtienne. As we'll see in a minute, AEtienne has had another PB in black this month, following on from their last one. So definitely going in ham there. Retro hasn't had a PB this month, but had a PB last month. Retro's doing all the runs ever. Then it's Red Blue Any Percent NSC, the classic easy to get into category by Genesis. Not a name I recognize. Anybody know Genesis?
No.
I'm not really well versed in Gen 1 runs, to be honest.
Hosting 360 Chrism, decent side. Take a look. Game PBs has run Red Blue. Glitchless has a 203. Has run Gold Glitchless with a 334. Their NSC time is a 12:08. Oh wow, only 20 seconds off. Should be good. Nice. One of my favourite things. It's like I love seeing the NSC run beyond the PSR marathon because it's a really good opportunity for the smaller name runners, the newer people to the community to jump in with a live run. NSC isn't too demanding to learn, but it can be executed well.
We had David Poco doing NSC last time, and so yeah, shout outs to him.
He was very nervous for that run, I remember that, but did a really good job of it. And then tying it all off, Pokemon trading card game by Raagentreg, who has also had, I don't think they've had a PB this month, but they had a PB last month. So everybody clearly putting in work.
Another one of those non-main series games that's getting a lot of love in the past few months.
Yeah, I love watching TCGs. It's a god-awful run to watch if you've not played the game, because it's so fast, it's difficult to tell what's happening. It is so fast, but it's a really good run. It's really technical, really fast-paced. And it's had a lot of route changes recently. Makes for just an interesting show all around. Yeah, ESA definitely showing the love. When will GDQ catch up? Hot take.
Well, hopefully this summer.
I've got to be honest, I feel like there's a balance between these. It's really nice that Pokemon's got a lot of runs here at ESA. That is a lot, though. 5 is a big investment for a Pokemon block. But then I suppose Retro has submitted a lot of these. Oh no, not quite. Retro's got 2 and Wartab's got 2, so I guess the crossover was probably very good for this marathon. Anyway, from there we are done with our main points. So it is time for Amoeba's favourite point. Favourite part.
This is also my favourite part of it.
If you can spell leaderboard roundup. You did it. It's time for leaderboard roundup. So, we start from the beginning, and it is the quietest month by far for the OG Gen 1 games. Which I believe is because of Let's Go's popularity. So we have in 13th place Wave Warrior, who I believe had a PB last month as well. Moved up from 19th, so possible top 10. Top 10 contender, one to watch, perhaps, if you like your Gen 1 run.
Stamp already?
Yeah, well, I haven't said it. I normally have one before the leaderboard roundup. Wave Warrior has been jumping up. 19th was a low 150, and now he's got a low 149, so he's knocking minutes off already. And there, 39th is Gis, 94. I don't know what flag that is. Netherlands. Now I know. 61st for AEtienne. Not only picking up a black-white 1 PB, but also red. Very good RNG, some small mistakes is the comment. 251st. Scroll a little bit for Sigfriel. 308th for a name that I don't know how to pronounce. It looks like Frosty Dildo, but it's not quite. Frostidlo. Close enough. From the Czech Republic. Is that Czech Republic? That might be the first.
Actually, it's called Czechia now.
Is it?
Yeah.
It says shoutouts to SRC. Not keeping up on their on the political news.
I'm pretty sure Sko just made that up.
What? Google it for yourself.
Czechia, really?
My geography is so trash, I will just take his word on it.
Is it actually Czechia? Wow.
Yes, it is.
Can we get Google?
Dude, when did this happen?
Can Can somebody
Oh
in
my
chat
lord.
confirm? Ascension in the ranks.
When did this happen? How did I miss this?
To be fair, I saw Czech Republic. And
Oh, I think
didn't
it's just
question it.
a shorter name. I think it looks like they're both okay.
I could have sworn they changed it.
We're,
Right,
we're
anyway,
getting
back to
confirmation in the
Pokemon.
chat that both are correct. Nobody's wrong.
Yeah, it said the effective date was 17th of May 2016. I didn't hear about this back then, but okay.
Anyway, back to Pokemon.
Back to both.
Sorry, yeah.
And in
Staying out of this.
338, Daniel 1RD with a 9-hour time. Which,
Shoutouts to Daniel.
Shoutouts to Daniel. Beats the slowest run on the leaderboard by another 3 hours.
Shoutouts to
Blind
him,
run,
fellow
according
Cars
to his,
speedrunner.
comment.
Was that blindfolded?
That's me.
May have been.
They have a sub badge. Oh no, donated £10. Correctly formatted screen capture though. Full window of the emulator. Splits could do with moving a bit, but perfectly acceptable. Good stuff. Red. What else do we have? NSC gets a couple of PBs. Classic gets nothing. Apparently, I'm sure. Actually, hey, SRC broke. Let's go. That was quick. We got through a little bit of red. Oh no, it was Yellow Classic that got the PBs. NSC gets, where is it? 16th for Crachel, who has been a regular name on the leaderboards for a while. 42nd for Mr. Pankako or Pansarko? Oh, you pronounce that anyway. I'm not going to embarrass myself anymore. 59th for Mr. Oh, it's disappeared.
He's 49th.
49th. Yeah, he is. I can't type. 49th for Pro Wayne K from Taiwan. And then one RBO. I have RBO PBs written on this, and now they've moved to the extension leaderboard, so I can't even pull them up. Bodied by mod decisions. But if RBO was still a main category, Crachel also got 7th there. Pocket Monster Stadium, the Japanese one, gets no PBs, pretty standard. Yellow gets 1 PB. Such a quiet month of Gen 1. It is the Emerald Legend Shiru has decided that Emerald wasn't hard enough, let's go play Yellow. And has 19. Bopped me by a bunch of places, so I'm upset. Not even the best Emerald runner on the Yellow leaderboard anymore. Yellow Classic gets 11th for Loney, 8th for Diego Laser from Colombia. I like checking out the flags this month. And 4th for Juanly Waves. And then NSC picks up 7th for Games the Monkey. That's Welch. Welch runner. That's another. Do we count those as Brits? Wales is Britain, isn't it?
What do you mean
Yes.
you count them as Brits?
Well, I mean, to be honest, by the time we're done with Brexit,
No,
they'll
we
be
count them as
Brits.
sheep.
you know,
Crafted.
you know, I lived in Wales for like 11 years of my life.
Oh, the beef.
Again, I am just staying out of this.
JP, I'm with you,
Or the
mate.
lamb, I guess, according to Crafted.
Oh, we don't promote such views on the podcast.
Yes, I'm joking. They are people, I think. I haven't been there myself.
Crafted, shut up. Fucking hell. God. Oh no, we are in so much trouble. Hey, you Pikachu.
Welsh has more vowels
No,
than English.
Welsh has no vowels. They replace all the vowels with Y.
No, it has A, E, I, O, U, W, and Y, all vowels. What are you talking about?
W is a vowel?
It is.
Might be with you on the
What?
sheep comment.
No, it's not.
In Welsh, it is.
What's the Landfair town that's about 50 letters and ends in gogogo?
That one.
That one, yes.
Okay, what?
But you can call it Standby PG for short.
Jesus, there's a town in Wales that has about 60 letters in its name, and Garth just nailed it.
Jesus.
It starts
oh my
with
God.
starts with Landfair and ends in go go go.
Landfair. Standby.
It's Landfair. It's spelled Landfair.
Everybody uses that timer just can't say Standby. It's Landfair. I die a little every time.
I challenge everyone to try and type out that town's name.
Oh no, I can do it right now. I think you'll find it's a little bit off.
Landfair. Go, go, go.
Professional podcast.
Captain and I went for the same thing.
God damn it.
Oh, God's sake. I'm still really impressed that you pronounced it just like that.
People asked me to do that in school, like, several times.
That and there was one PSR marathon where at some point you made a reference to Tom and Jerry that was the funniest shit ever. I remember clipping it at the time, and barely anybody in chat really mentioned it because it was such an obscure reference, but it was the funniest fucking thing. Because I just knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, that was during the Heart Gold run with
yeah. I think you were in Bugsy's gym. I remember it that specifically.
Wow.
It was because I think I'd had the thought a little bit, and I was like, it was one of those things where I was like, there's no point even saying that because just nobody's going to make that connection. You just said it.
You think we may be going a little off piste here?
Ah, well, I mean, you guys just had a fight about sheep. I don't want to know.
That town has a population of 3,100. That means there are 3,100 people at minimum that know how to pronounce that.
They do. I think they all do call it however you pronounce Landfair.
Standby PG.
Yeah. I mean, it pretty much was done as a publicity stunt, but like an 1800s publicity stunt. Anyway, AU Pikachu gets no PBs. It's pretty standard. TCG gets PBs. Second place for Ooge. They will have Ooge on, and he will tell us how to actually pronounce his name. He will be Ooge. Call him Ooge. It's 22nd for Mojito Monday, which is another fantastic name.
Oh, that's a good one.
KB's on ran TCG. Anyway, there's Raagentreg, who's going to be at ESA. No all cards. Snap. This is the big one. This is the big one. So, to give you a clue of how quiet Gen 1 is, Gen 1, Red normally has the most PB by far. Red had 4, 8, 10 across all categories. Snap got 16 on any percent alone. Any percent on N64 well. So, obvious world record by Mr. Quo. World record number 2 by Drogie. And world record number 3 by Lvon. And 4th place by Liam Kings. These are all PBs, so the top 4 times are all set within the last 2 weeks. Rolling down from there, we've got 11th for Squidbird, 13th for Danimal Sounds, 15th for Flair, 17th for Collins BG, 18th for Mrs. Candaria, who is in chat, or was in chat. Oh, 18th for Proto Man as well. Oh no, we have that one. I 18th. Proto Man was one of the people that learnt run at AGDQ, so already top 20. Liam King's been the other big one. 24th for You Are Penguin. That's a name that's popped up 3 or 4 podcasts. So consistent B's there. 35th for Keto. Big shout outs to Keto. He's a monkey ball runner, man after my heart. 36th for Rizu, who has also been in the chat, who has also learnt the game at AGDQ and is also going to be in the tournament. 46th for Agewell, another person that learnt the AGDQ. 63rd, Swedish Ninja Fish. And 77th, Chicken Hawk Sama. That's a hell of a name. That's 16 any percent 4 PB. Nothing on WeeVC, but WeeVC gets 5th for Whom is DS, who is the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon just all-round legend. And then 9th for Mr. TiKevin himself, although I have been reliably informed that Mr. TiKevin now has a not yet uploaded 23xx time to put him in a comfy 6th, slightly, possibly. No other categories that I could actually see, so any percent is the one going mental. But yeah, this is the big month for Snap, and I expect it to be pretty big for a little while yet. And once again, I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to everybody that helped me out with the Snap feature on this month. Really great community, people should check it out. From Snap, obviously we've been through the Pinball leaderboards. Every run on there is new right now. Stadium 1, only new PB was the Dr. Sprinkles world record, so we don't need to go back into that. Gold doesn't get any new glitchless times. Any percent NS... Oh no, has that moved as well? I got bodied again! Okay, so the category extensions leaderboard have stolen any percent NSC. If it was here, 8th place would be SGS Junk, and 9th would be RPG Pilgrim. But that's another category that's moved from miscellaneous to extension, making the main leaderboards look a little bit cleaner. That's a new tab. Crystal. So nothing for Pokemon Stadium 2. Crystal gets... Yet. Crystal gets 1...
I gotta say... I'm sorry, I gotta say, Worcester's been working really, really hard to get a Stadium 2 Gym Leader Castle Round 1 time, and he has just been getting obliterated at the end game.
He was struggling for a long while getting... because he was doing full game runs for... Was it Stadium 2 or Stadium 1 that's full game?
Stadium 2 full game, yeah.
And he was just obliterated. He was just... because it's like something you basically have to do once a week, because he needs to do it on a weekend, and it's like 24 hours, and it's a whole thing.
Sorry, I need to point this out. Exarian is currently at Tate and Zone.
He's at Tate Live Zone.
Oh,
what? I heard
Tate now on Sapphire?
Yeah.
At what pace?
At Winona, he was 1.8 seconds behind Pokeguy.
Ooh, can we have live updates, please? Mr. Scoagogo on the scene.
Okay.
Keep us updated. So yeah, Crystal at any percent glitchless. 33rd for Zetox. That's the only PB this month. Expect Gen 2 to potentially blow up in the coming months if more advanced manips get developed. If TCG2 actually gets another PB again. Blazezard improves his non-manip second place. So it's quite nice. Quite nice to see that get some love in general. Would be nice to see some Japanese runners actually pick this game up, because the English run is effectively on a what happened?
That was
He
your
died.
fault, Scoa. That was entirely your fault.
Did you effectively live tweet the run and kill it immediately? So
Pretty much.
we live
He got
podcasted
defense
it.
dropped somewhere.
Aw.
And Lunatone used Calm Mind.
Yeah, Lunatone used Calm
Surf would
Mind.
not one shot.
We have an F in chat for the run that Scoa just sacrificed. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for blaming me.
The Sapphire's awful. God damn. Why would anybody run it? Why would anybody run Sapphire? Specifically you, Mr. 17th place, Tutelar Fiber. Why did you run Sapphire this month? 19th, I can't read. Because he's got a 7 in his name. So, Tutelar gets 19th. So, Mr. Exarion, Mr. Exonaru, trying for that world record again. Or at least sub 2. I don't know, has he specifically said world record, or is it just sub 2?
He's trying. I mean, assuming, because he's comparing against record splits, so I'm assuming he wants it.
Makes sense. It's an odd one to go for, because I feel like that's not a bad record anymore. Like, it's not been such a long time coming, but Sapphire finally has a decent record.
No, if you go by Pokeguy, it's a good time.
Well, yeah, Pokeguy good and everybody else very good.
I don't think Exarion's the type to be particularly motivated by wanting to snipe weak records, though.
No, but what I mean more is like I'm surprised that Exarion's like aiming for record rather than aiming for his own good run. Because I feel like he could have something that was a good run that wouldn't be record. I'm surprised that Exarion is the type to specifically... I don't know if he is specifically aiming for the record, but it seems surprising that he's using record splits. I would have expected him to more be down for his own good run.
I feel like he wants to just know how well his pace is, and just by looking at the splits he's got on his screen, like he's going off of target splits and record splits is what he's got. So I'm positive he's going for record with this.
Okay.
His target splits is 1 second better than the record.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I guess that answers your question then.
I am a little bit surprised, but then, you know, whatever motivates you. Exarion could definitely do it.
I mean, dropping the 2 from that hour
Yeah.
set is...
Well, I feel like that would be a great goal
very
to
important.
go for, like the 1x. When is Heinz gonna do it?
He said never. I asked him.
I can imagine.
Rip Hines.
That boy literally learned Japanese to be able to not run this game. No, I'm joking. So, moving on from Sapphire. Channel doesn't get any PBs as is standard. We need to go in here and mention that they have an absolutely trash layout. Sort it out. Because it still hasn't happened. Mushroom Soda and Pear Strike. Get it done. Or pack.
So,
get on with the banner thing.
Here's what you do. You do a run, and then you get moderator power.
Do I have to worm my
Then
way
you
into
can
the
fix-
moderator leaderboard to fix it? This
Yes.
is really where we're going with this. No, I'm not buying that game. You have to talk into a mic to be able to play it, or is that no? That's Hey You Pikachu, isn't it?
That's a yeah.
Ah, damn. Anyway, Pokemon
I'll
Pinball.
buy channel.
Pokemon Pinball.
Hold on.
No, go away.
eBay.
Live prices for speedrun games.
The channel's one where it's faster to use multiple consoles.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ, it's 25 quid. Why?
God.
It's a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's
But it's channel.
but it's Pokemon and it's GameCube. GameCube games are rare. Just by nature of it being a poor selling console. Which came first, Score or Channel? It released before Colosseum, so it's a good guess, honestly.
I'm going to check now that you've said this.
Well, it
Release
released
date
18.
is July 18th, 2003.
So that's
Damn.
It was alive for a month.
I'm not. Wait. I don't even think I was 1 month.
You were just under a month, but yeah, you sneaked in. You sneaked in before Pinball as well.
Literally, I think Channel is the first game that came out after I was born.
Yeah, Ruby Sapphire is 2002. That was the last game before Channel.
I think that says a lot about me.
Anyway, Pinball gets no PBs. Sad times. Colosseum. I don't know what the connection is here, but the 2 PBs are owned by the only Juan and Juanly Ways. Clearly a Juanly kind of game. 4th place for the only Juan. I believe that's a new name. Although every time I say this, I'm wrong.
I think
Oh,
I've
new name.
heard him before.
Not new.
You're getting better at remembering.
Yeah, not new to Pokemon Speedruns.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
new to Colosseum.
new to Col-
Oh yeah, she picks up an XD PB as well this month.
Wait, on the same day? Am I reading it right? They're both 18 days ago.
They were probably submitted on the same day because
okay.
the default submission is
No,
for
submitted,
the day that you submit. So,
submitted day and played on day are different for XD. So that's been edited, and they're different. They're different, but the same day for Colosseum as well. So apparently he did them on the same day.
wow.
Imagine doing 2 4-hour Pokemon runs. Same day. What a legend. Also, he's 4th place with his first run. So, despite the fact he's not the only one, he's clearly making waves, possibly one to watch. From Colosseum, it's Fire Red Leaf Green. Francie breaks into the top 10 with a 2-11, threatening the poor boy in 9th. And 27th for Jock MS. Jock has picked up a bunch of these across this month. I believe he's one of the people looking to do the... Is it like the full series race? I might be making that up there.
Well, I
Not
know
sure.
that's why Toot is doing like Sapphire and all. 'Cause Toot's doing it.
I've been watching Francie's runs. He's picked it up really well, and I feel like Francie is going to improve his run very soon.
Amoeba's about to get bobbed.
Yeah, I think I am.
Jock confirming that Amoeba's making things up, boys.
Why?
Jock saying it in chat.
Oh no. Jock, I was getting bodied by chat. Flash timeout. Sorry, Jock. So yeah, we'll see Jock MS. I was going to say we're going to see him appear later on. We're going to see him appear right now when we move over to Emerald.
One other Fire Red Leaf Green, Huanli Ways also has a 212.30, or 212.29, but it's not on the leaderboard yet for Fire Red Leaf Green.
Oh really? Fresh news. 212.29. That puts him at
13.
13. Ops Pokeguy, who I don't think ran the game for very long. But wow, actually, that's what worst out of top 10. Obviously, his run's 4 years old, but it's an interesting sight. So, moving on to Emerald. 18th, tied 18th for Mitsune, tying Ryzaken's Blaziken time. And then 28th for Jock MS. I believe that's the first Emerald run. I could be talking shit again. Watch this. No, I'm not. Hey. Yeah, God, Dark Alba's second. That dark. That's Alba Granite Cave. From Emerald, Dash doesn't get any PBs. Not a very popular speed game. Surprising. XD only gets the only Juan in 6th. Interesting that he's got 5 or 6 PBs in XD and has 6th place, but his first Colosseum PB is in 4th. I feel like maybe there was a few more that he didn't load.
Or he put more practice in before doing it, but
Possibly,
probably the second.
4th is a big jump in. It's not like the Colosseum leaderboards are particularly lacking. I feel like that's a big first time, if it was so. Troze gets nothing. Mystery Dungeon Red Blue. It's a fairly quiet month, the Mystery Dungeon theme. Any percent, no Wonder Mill, no quick saves, and Knuckles featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series gets 10th for Seamist Ohio, and 19th for Curtis JK_. And then any percent, no Wonder Mail. It's a brand new record for Whomis DS, because he has to appear at least 5 times every month. He does this time, as all of them. Boy is putting in work. Ranger gets nothing. Fairly quiet side game. Diamond and Pearl gets Japanese PBs. Any percent. Obviously the new record that we covered with Punyuta. And then a 3rd place for Mr. Scoagogo. How was the run?
Oh yeah, I did that. It was bad, but I literally every single run I've been on has been paced to improve it by over a minute at Rourke, so soon.
Soon. Gotta get
Mars,
a sub on at
please.
least. Mr. I don't like Mars.
I don't like Mars.
Battle Revolution actually gets a PB. And it's Mr. Whomis DS again. They're 5th place there. This boy's just going to be the champion of all the side games.
Wait, people play this game?
Yeah, I like this
There's
game.
actually been quite a bit of discussion in the in the PSR Discord for the Revolution channel for like new people trying to figure out strats and such. So.
Oh yeah, I have it muted. That would make sense.
Yeah, I like. I think it was Poke Heroes run for a couple of PSR marathons ago. It was quite an interesting run. From there, Mystery Dungeon Sky. Oh, actually, no, we need to pop into Time Darkness quickly because I believe there was a PB here that I didn't write down. Yes. It's, Cruel. 5th place. Time Darkness. This is a pretty unpopular Mystery Dungeon game, mostly because Sky is just a better version all round. Slightly more content, slightly more balance. Pokemon Ranger 2 gets nothing, as is standard. Platinum actually gets nothing this month. Nobody actively running that I'm aware of.
Woodland.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Woodland's running it. I was wrong. Mystery Dungeon Sky gets quite a few. Any percent with Wondermail. 12th place for Siver. Any percent no Wondermail. Brand new record.
Nice. Playing it on new 3DS rather than Wii U VC. That's interesting.
Oh yeah. Everybody else has moved. That's going to be a fairly significant time loss, I would have thought, even if it is new 3DS.
I don't think new 3DS would make any difference over DS or 3DS for this game.
No, I mean compared to Wii U VC.
But yeah, it would be slower than that.
The Humans DS picks up a nice new record there. Go alongside all of his others. Also get a new 2nd place for Mozzarella Cheese and a new 3rd place for Anthem of the World. So that category was clearly the hot one for the PMD community. Beat Darkrai, no Wondermail. 2nd place at Anthem of the World as well. And then all icons, no Wondermail. Free record for Anthem of the World. So Anthem of the World clearly putting in work for Mystery Dungeon Sky. Possibly one to watch. Now we get into the quieter sections of the leaderboards. We've only got a couple more games with PBs left. We go from Sky all the way to Pokepark. Nothing for Heart Gold, Soul Silver again. Pokepark, any percent gets 12th place for the Lagging Gamer. And then All Friends gets 2nd place for Whom is DS again. So that's his 5th appearance. PBs after PBs. From Pokepark, it's Black White 1. Quite a busy run this month.
Not busy enough.
14th place for Mr. JP Zinam. How was the run?
It was very average. There was nothing like particularly bad. I was just very slow at menuing and very slow at getting past some spinners. As long as I improve my menuing and biking, I should be able to get a much better time.
I'm sweating for the 10th place spot. That's definitely coming any time now.
Would like to point out, whenever, before me and Crafted started running this, I'm pretty sure Ryoto was 3rd place.
Well, it's Vulligan, who's currently 13th, was the OG record holder.
Was that not
Many
Animal Brawl?
years. Oh, that's the OG Animal Brawl.
Oh yeah, that's you going
First
back.
person to manip.
You're going back quite a while there, Fran.
Was that the Snivy run with Animal Brawl?
No, I'm pretty sure he was Embor. Pretty sure it was Vulligan.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
Vulligan did
Vulligan
the
who did
first
Snivy,
yeah.
and then he switched back to Steffi Glacier.
One of my favourite relics from the SDA forums is where they're all talking about running Black White 1, and how they're all definitely sure that Snivy is the absolute fastest. Definitely got to go for that one.
Oshawott and everything got considered.
Oshawott shit. Sorry. Unpopular
Yeah,
opinion, I'm
alright,
sure.
man.
I hate that starter. Possibly the worst starter.
Oh.
Well, it's a hot take right there.
That is a hot take
I think,
indeed.
is there anything else that's...
As far as moveset,
No, just Pokemon. Fine. You know me, I'm a big believer in the Karen ideology. I use the Pokemon that I like. Don't care what they're like. Like if they're trash,
That's
that's
fair.
fine. Yes. So 14th for JP, that's his first run on the leaderboard. 16th for Pulse Effects, I believe that's the second PB. Could be wrong. I'm fairly sure they showed up on last month. And then 18th for Slopdop. Does anybody know anything about Slopdop? I believe that's a brand new name.
I only know Slopdop from M-Ray streams.
So started running this month for Black White. Went from a 351 to a 333. It's well-established runner in Paper Mario games. Ultimate Snap runner. A nice tie-in. Donkey Kong 3. Wow, pretty well-established runner in general.
I would like to point out that that black improvement is nearly exactly what mine was whenever I started. Like, it's literally only just a couple of minutes out. I went from... No, well, it's not there because it was like emulator runs from way back.
Fake news.
But I went from like a 350 to 331. So,
Good
not
sign.
a big difference.
Canadian world record incoming. On Black White 1, we skip a bunch of side games, but we do get to nip into Conquest. Second place for Whom is DS? What a fucking surprise. So only 3 people on this leaderboard. Rydlith has put hella work into this game, so it's really nice to see him get some competition at all. Whom is DS very, very close. Conquest is a really unique run. They use Swaddle, so it gets an A+ in my book. So yeah, I'll be interested to see if that gets taken soon. I feel like Rydlith will be straight back on that if it does. Then we skip a lot of games. Nothing for Black White 2. Nothing for XY. Nothing for ORS. Nothing for Sun Moon, the regular version. 1 PB in Ultra Sun Moon. And it's the Japanese 3DS default world record, because nobody else has run, by Kisara. So, a brand new Japanese runner to the Pokemon Leaderboards. I don't believe they've run anything else. No. So, brand new runner in general. Picking up a 7-hour run. Garth, decent time? I don't know if you've actually run Ultra.
I didn't. Well, I think I did. I finished one run, I think, but I don't think I ever missed it. It was like, what was it? I can't remember. Like it's about 6 hours or so. So this is like very much kind of early run kind of time. So I would expect this. So if they were to keep running it, it could definitely come down by a fair bit if they wanted to keep going.
Well, their splits are currently. They actually had splits from a previous run, and they're currently an hour and a half ahead.
Yeah, I mean they could probably do something similar even on the next run. I would say.
Good. Nice to see Gen 7 getting a little bit more love. It's a fairly quiet leaderboard. Nothing for Detective Pikachu. What? Then we get into the big boy, the final boy. Before
the boy.
Eh, boy.
Before we go through and run through all of these, I was kindly reminded by a quick DM by GarfieldTheLightning in the call that we should have mentioned when we were covering these records that Headstrong and is it Retro?
Yeah.
Yeah, Headstrong and Retro got contacted by Guinness World Records Gamers Edition for information on their Let's Go runs. So we could possibly see a feature, a bit of a spread. Gamers Edition.
Yeah,
World
might be a
record.
little featurette in there, which would be quite nice.
It's I'd say it makes for a good. I feel like Let's Go's been a good story for a speedrun. Lots of interest, lots of new.
The problem with these records, though, being in a book, is that they already get outdated before the book even comes out.
Well, they've
Yeah.
contacted Headstrong and Retro, and neither of which are the record holder right now.
I think
Yeah.
Retro was for the 2-controller run, so he's still safe on that in that regard at the moment.
To be fair to them, it's very difficult if you're trying to capitalize on a new popular game to actually nail the record holders down, because it's just
Yeah.
going to develop that quickly.
If they're asking like general questions about the run, though, a lot of what they'll be talking about will still be relevant.
Very true. And usually, like, they'll have a disclaimer like, "This is the record as of this printing," that sort of thing.
I know.
Well, I mean, that won't even be true though if they do that. But
I know when I'm going to give myself a little humble brag here, I ended up in one of the leaderboards on one of the Gamer Edition, the some run. And I know when it was announced, someone had got like a pre-copy or somehow knew that that these were going to be added in, and it said I was second on the leaderboards before they'd even printed it, and I was already third at that point, and it's still printed as if I was second on that. So they don't retroactively update it or anything, but it will probably be wrong when it. It's a bit of a shame, but then they're not going to be able to contact Hashrice anyway because the book is English. Doubt Hashrice has competent enough English. I've been wrong.
He's got basic
not
English
terrible.
skills. He's not bad at English, but definitely not super duper fluent.
The Monkey Ball community has quite a varying collection of Japanese runners, and I know there's basically only one Japanese runner that we can hold more than the odd word of a conversation with. That sounds. I want to disclaim that because that sounds very judgy. We're all perfectly capable of learning Japanese to discuss with them if we were bothering to take the time for it. So it's very nice that one of them knows English well enough to talk to us. Language barriers are fun. Anyway, PBs, basically the whole leaderboard. Obviously, new world record by Hashrice, X world record by Headstrong, X world record by Retro. 313 for Snorms, who is an X world record holder. I think he was. He had the record at the time that we did the first month of the podcast with this game. I'm fairly sure. Could be wrong. Venlo, did Venlo ever get the record, or was he very, very close?
he had the record for a short time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're looking at almost entirely world record holders, like the top 6 or 7. Etiquette had the record very early on, pushing back for it now. Seen a tweet from him saying that he can't, or he's struggling to play this game on stream. He does a lot better when he plays offline. That's an interesting. I definitely subscribe to that opinion in general for all speedruns, but I feel like it's an interesting game to specifically feel it on. Sorry, Garf, what was that? Oh, Discord go. I think it went full robot. Garf's gone. Bye, Garf. It's gone.
Okay, I think that's better.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I had problems as well. So.
Yeah, everyone went Robo.
Hey.
Yeah.
You all sound good again.
Okay, good.
What was it you were saying, Garf? Sorry.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. Full robo then. It's an 8th for Volodomini. Nice name, I like that. 9th for Mr. Deeps. That's not a nice name, I'm very sorry. 10th for I don't know what Raya was running there. Raya runs everything. Cool guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you mentioned him last month.
I'm just stupid then. Cool. 11th for GarfieldTheLightning. How was the run, Garf?
Well, this run was. It felt really good to PB this run because I did not believe I was going to PB. I died to Scientist Ted, the guy with the Electrode. I was 2.5 minutes behind at Blame, even though I did have one extra Pokemon though, to be fair. And then just the rest of the run went very well, and I was able to pull out a PB by like 40 seconds. So that felt really good to just get that 316.
Nice. Some nice
Ted-
splits to run against again.
Ted is an obnoxiously scary fight.
He's the first guy. It's the first time I've died to him. He crit me with Thunderbolt, so I had to revive, and kind of thought the run was over at that point. But I'm glad I kept pushing on.
Stuff. We kind of have a bracket from Kizaron to TiKevin of Runners that haven't PB'd this month and had decent times last month have now dropped down a bit. With Swaff in the middle of it with a 15th place, 319. The top 15 is the cut-off for sub 320. Penguin in 24th. I don't know if that's new to the leaderboard, but new to Pokemon runs. Not going to claim completely new to the leaderboard. Yeah, that would have been a safe. That would have been wrong. Nice improvements all around there. Runs refunked. Good taste. 26th for Silurus. 30th for Scoagogo. Scoa, how's the run?
Absolutely awful, but at least I found Cinnabar Island this time.
How do you not know where it is?
Right,
Oh,
oh
God,
my
Jay, you're
god.
like 15 out here.
Did you not know the story? So
How do you not know the lore?
He goes down. He's super concerned with finding Starmie that he misses the dock and keeps going.
Wait,
No,
how?
right. I have my excuse because I'm so used to Heart Gold Soul Silver where you go down and then you go right a bit. So I went down, and I went down, and I went down, and I was standing right beside the dock, and I just didn't see it.
Fucking hell. See, it's such
And
a...
I kept going, and I surfed up, and I was like, "Where is Cinnabar Island?"
such a weird concept because it's like, from being a kid, the Gen 1 map is just ingrained in my mind. I could probably
Same.
walk around it blindfolded.
It's
I just
not
know
only
where everything
from
is.
just kid Gen 1, but like for me running Fire Red so
Yeah.
many years. It's
Multiple
it's all-
iterations of it since as well, yeah.
I'm gonna find you, me trying to find Cinnabar Island.
Well, I'll throw that up on stream if you've got it. While he's finding that, 31st for Nako, British runner. Potential podcast. Oh, and brand new speedrunner in general. First run ever. Nearly top 30, and let's go. Congrats to him. 34th for Zergsword. 39th for 16-bit Ferret. That's a name I recognise from I'm fairly sure. Snap and Gold and Red. And Shantae. Shantae's a...
Right, I found it.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Fresh
Oh
content,
yeah,
lads.
that was in your original for
It's in my very, very first run of the game. Bearing in mind, I had beaten the game like 2 days prior to this.
Well, you got to turn the sound on, surely, to hear his confused cries.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Why am I appearing like 3 times? What the
Everybody
hell?
is, yeah.
I didn't even realize Starmie's catching was in this. I would have skipped it, but I didn't watch it that much.
It's just this has just turned into watching Scoa's past broadcasts.
But it's fine. Look, you just got to see my excellent throw. Just need to flex on you.
JP, why are you posting everything 3 times?
I don't know.
Only you as well. Oh,
Right,
good.
here we go.
I do not need this star Oh my god, that star user.
You can tell by my movement, I literally have no idea where I'm going.
Oh, look at these bonks.
The dog is right there.
No idea where I'm going.
How'd you get lost in that? There's nowhere else to go. Are you serious? I thought this was going to look like, you know, red-blue Kanto. It literally, there's nowhere else to go. Is Cinema not down here? Quote unquote, Scoagogo 2019.
And I'm just gone, and you can hear Cosmo
You want to move
literally
back up?
screaming at me.
Go down. No, where are you
I
going?
did go down.
No, just keep.
I was crying.
Scott, just go down.
I was not in the
You just
call,
gotta go down.
but I was crying.
And then left.
Oh fuck.
Why don't we take this island and push it somewhere else?
I don't want to hear a fucking word from anyone.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
god.
He's just hiding behind a building like, I don't want to look at myself
I
right
don't
now.
want to hear a word.
JP, who has 5 quadrillion hours of Kanto, is fucking cringing
He's
right now.
just crying right now.
Oh my god. You're not allowed back on.
Fortunately, the better PP does not have that. He does indeed realize where Cinnabar Island is.
Go on after let's go.
Oh my god.
Please no bully. Good god. 42nd for Sean D. 48th for Swish Face, and that does it for the any percent lead. 2 controllers. Solo gets Retrotato in first, Swaff second, and Factories Far Away in 11th. I didn't know Factories ran this. Factories.
He's also playing on Pikachu version, not Eevee version. Okay. Yep.
Rakodan's girlfriend.
Oh.
I have met them both at UKSM.
You might even see, I think they did a co-op run as well, actually, of this game.
That would make sense. They did, yes. Factory's got Draco to do the second controller for 5 hours. God. So yeah, world record here by Chibidesu and Retrotato. Bopping TiKevin Healy. And yeah, new run with Factories and Draco. And that does it for the leaderboard roundup and the podcast itself. It's been a long one at 2 hours 40. Also the longest one we've done. Anybody else got any parting comments?
Cinnabar Island.
Sco is not allowed back.
There is a in-person speedrun near where I live in March that I've submitted to. They haven't gone through and curated the submissions yet, but next month I will know if I'm in.
Ooh. I presume that's for Fire Red, or is it Black White?
I submitted both Fire Red and Let's Go.
Oh.
And maybe either one would get in. Yeah, I've got a Let's Go time.
Oh, good,
I've got the shiny Starmie. I've got the shiny Starmie world record.
Oh, damn. Yes, big shout. We'll do one final shout out for the Snap tournament. If you liked the Snap section and you can see more, go follow CCNeverender. It starts a week today. Good timing. I'm going to shout out personally that I'll be doing a live marathon run of a completely irrelevant game called Monkey Ball tomorrow on the front page of Twitch at 12 PM GMT. So if you like me as a person, and God, why would you? Go watch that. Otherwise, thank you very much to our special guests, Garfield and JP. Thank you very much to my co-hosts, Scoagogo and Crafted. Thank you very much to our interview pre-recorded shows from Quo and CCNeverender. And we will see you.
Bye.
Bye.